I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're here because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're here because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. Great episode, people, and it's time to celebrate. It's been a few days. I think it was May the 2nd. It was the 5th year anniversary of the greatest fights, one of the greatest fights of all time, Mayweather and Pacquiao. We're gonna be discussing that fight, and also, more importantly, whether that fight was good or bad for boxing. So let's begin the discussion. Oh, before we begin, let me just, again, G Boogie was the BDA donor of the month for April.
Wow. Yeah.
That's right. G Boogie. Last month was Recognize the Matrix, the one and only. And yeah, here's a list of everybody who donated. So thank you.
So he beat me out and he pulled it out in the end.
You were winning, but then, he came out like with that knockout punch. Sorry, Recognize, but
he's from Brooklyn, so he can't have this Queens cat keep winning this shit. So it's a Brooklyn and Queens thing.
I remember that guy that he was with Mosley. It was his bodyguard or something.
Shane Mosley?
Yeah, Shane Mosley had a bodyguard that was like he was from Brooklyn or something, and then I'll show you the video. No, anyways, forget it.
I think I remember who you.
He was like a guy from the streets. Everybody said he was very popular or something. I think he was his
the 40s. Black dude, right?
Yeah, his 40s, and I don't know. Anyways,
that makes sense. But this was a while ago, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was 24/7. He said he was called the knockout artist. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Yeah. G Boogies, thank you for your contribution. Donor of the month is here. All right. Well, we have Recognize the Matrix, and we're gonna be having other people joining us. All right. Let's begin. Well, in the news, what do we have in the news first? Let's check. There's a ticker down below, people, so you can see what the hell happened in the last few days. Let me just put this here. All right. So we have Steven Espinosa says Showtime will come back with high-level fights after the pandemic. So this is what Steven Espinosa is saying. He's saying we won't be the first ones, right? The first network to start showing boxing again. But that is because we want to showcase the best fights available. We don't want to just put some garbage fights and, start showing boxing. We want to give you the best stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's probably because they don't have any fighters left, or the PBC doesn't want to showcase their fighters on Showtime anymore. That's probably the reality. Yeah. He mentioned, by the way, Benavides, Caleb Plant. He wants that fight on Showtime. That's a great fight. And but then he talks about Santa Cruz and Tank Davis on pay-per-view, which I wouldn't pay for that.
Pay-per-view Showtime?
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do it, but I could see them. I could see them making it happen. Yeah.
No, I can see them making it happen. Of course. They want to make it happen, but the thing is, it's Tank Davis.
How many people will buy that?
Why exactly? I don't understand. And Santa Cruz, fuck, man, this guy lost so much steam. You know what I mean? He was kind of like popular at some point
I
after
think they're overestimating the market, especially now. Like now, it's not the time to be doing that.
That is a great point, recognizing. That brings me to this other piece of news that I saw. It was Robert Garcia believes that fighters, that their purses may take a hit after the pandemic. And obviously because people are going to be more reluctant to spend money.
You so see, this is the dilemma that I could see boxing getting themselves into, because look, let's say you ask these fighters to take a pay cut because of the spending, right? The fans. You really think these big fights are going to kick off? You really think you could convince Wilder and Fury to fight for less money?
Exactly.
AJ to fight somebody, whoever, for less money? I don't think they'll probably say, "Look, we'll fight for the money that you want us to fight for, the lesser money, but I'm not fighting these big names. No, I'll fight lesser guys."
Yeah. But Robert Garcia also talks about the fact that some of these venues, these arenas, are going to be maybe at 50% capacity or less.
Yeah, I was reading about that. You know?
Yeah, promoters, they get apparently a lot of their money from that. And then the fighters get the network payday. Yeah, so in a way, this is good because I think that some of these fighters are overpaid. Now, there's no some economists gonna come on and say, well, there's no such thing as overpaid. I mean, if people want to fight, I mean, if people keep encouraging these promoters and managers to pay that amount, then it's normal, right? People are actually sustaining that type of system. But I don't think that's true, because in the case of the PBC, I think it was all a bubble in the sense that Paul Heyman was using money that wasn't even his. So it created some sort of like inflation, I guess. You know what I mean? Then other promoters had to compete with PBC prices, paydays.
Yeah.
And so it created all this fucking illusion of, this boxer is like, for example,
PBC might be hurt by this. PBC, I could see them hurt by this because they pay their fighters despite revenue, because he's getting like these hedge fund money, Al Heyman. So I mean, how much hedge fund money is he going to get now?
Well, exactly.
You know, I don't think.
I don't know how their contracts work. I've never really read the whole thing, like the contract.
Jimmy's good at this shit, bro. Jimmy
and Pete. Pete read the whole fucking thing, man. He read all the contracts and everything, man. But I don't know where the fuck Pete is. Pete is if you're listening, I'll send you a link.
Pete's somewhere in Florida hiding.
I know. We have G Boogie. G Boogie, what's up?
G Boogie.
What's up, gentlemen?
What up?
What's going on? Congratulations.
Okay, wait, hold on. We have Kevin wants us to take his phone call before. And somebody's calling long distance. All right, hold on. Whoever's calling long distance, I'm gonna hang up on you. Call later, I guess, because you're paying long distance. All right, hold on. Let me just unmute Kevin. You're paying. Oops. Echo. All right, Kevin, what's up? Kevin, can you hear us? Fuck. What the hell's going on?
Hey, recognize.
All right.
G?
Yeah, thanks. I had to launder my money somewhere, somehow.
I know how you Brooklyn cats get down. Especially from that area where you guys are from. You know what I'm saying? I know how I really know.
Criminal
laundering your money.
Criminal minded.
Hi guys, keep talking. I'm gonna fix the lines.
So G, we were talking about like pay cuts. Do you see these fighters taking big fights for pay cuts? Like the bigger fights, you know?
Well, I believe I saw a show that Ring IQ did, and he stated something that Bob Arum said that it's best to cut it in half because either way, you're still going to make a tremendous amount of money. Because if you look at it that way, people that are, instead of paying $80, $90, 75, whatever the case may be, you cut it in half and you still have more potential viewers than what you will have if the situation was, uh, if COVID didn't come into play, which that makes sense.
Yeah, Kevin. Sorry to interrupt, Jibugi, but Kevin,
You guys hear me?
yeah, go ahead.
We can hear you, Kevin.
Okay,
What's up,
I just
Kevin?
want to talk about Bob Arum real quick and his comments. What did he say? He said Dana White, he doesn't like Dana White's cowboy behavior, and that's irrelevant. The way
Why am I not
cowboy.
surprised? Why am I not surprised, Kevin?
Well, he's a cowboy. No.
Hold on. Just let me get my point across. You guys are talking about it. I got to head out, but he said cowboy behavior, and this is relevant for calling him a cowboy because this is what Bob Arum said probably about 5-6 years ago to Errol Hawani. He said MMA fans are a bunch of skinhead white guys, homosexuals that like to roll around. And what this is also something he said. He said something about he likes to bring up politics all the time. He said Donald Trump supporters are they're just white guys that are afraid that they won't be the majority anymore. That's who Donald Trump supporters are. So this is Bob Arum, one of the leading figures in boxing, talking like this. Can you imagine if Dana White said something like that? Oh, boxing fans are just a bunch of border hoppers, criminals, low-life minorities or something. Can you imagine if he said something similar to that, the way Bob Arum...
Oh, can you imagine if he would have said, Kevin, can you imagine if he would have said, boxing fans that subscribe to Bob Arum are nothing but Jewish communist fans?
That's what else? That's a great point because he said, "Oh, for boxing fans, they're ethnic, they're Hispanic, African American, and there's Jewish promoters." He's like, wait, you were just bashing. Are Jews not white now? So that's a little slip up by him. I guess he's admitting that Jews aren't white, but now his true feelings because that's just something.
Jews
that,
are white when it's
doesn't
convenient
like
for them.
said.
Jews are white when it's convenient
That's exactly
for them.
right.
It's a chameleon.
Bob Arum.
Yeah.
Chameleons.
Okay,
they're
so for instance,
white ones on they're minorities whenever it they gotta connive whenever they want to slither in and subvert. But Bob Arum, I had to get that off my chest because what a fucking communist piece of shit that guy is. You know what? He likes to talk about politics a lot, and he likes to act like he's progressive and he's for the Democrats. Oh, Donald Trump, he's such an evil guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't somebody ask him when they get a chance what he thinks of the apartheid state of Israel, the Jewish supremacist apartheid state of Israel. Watch how fast he shrinks into his watch how fast he shuts his mouth and he'll be shook. No one's ever dare bringing that up to him. What
that's the easiest thing to bring up to him.
He wouldn't know what to say. He's good friends with Sheldon Adelson, a freaking billionaire.
Oh, that's Trump's financier. That's weird. He hates Trump, but he's good friends with Sheldon Adelson. That's strange.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because Sheldon Adelson, he donates a ton of money to Israel. He's a hardcore Zionist, so Bob Arum is totally cool with that. As long as you're a freaking staunch Israel supporter, he's on your side. They're Jews. They're from the same tribe. So Bob Arum, I don't know how someone like Tyson Fury could be promoted by him because
that's a little weird. Tyson Fury better watch. Tyson Fury better watch his back. Sleeping with the enemy.
Oh, no doubt. Only Bob Arum cares about is milking him. He knows he can get him some money. So I wish Lomachenko.
That's why I don't trust. That's why I don't trust Tyson Fury. I don't trust him.
Well, you don't have to trust the guy.
No, I mean I don't trust Tyson Fury in the sense that he might be like I'm tired of dealing with this guy. Go in the ring, fucking lackadaisical and get beat.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yum.
You know what else he said, Bob Arum? He said something about Kelly Pavlik. You remember that little beef him and Kelly
Oh
Pavlik
yeah,
had back in the
yep,
day?
I remember that. He didn't like Kelly
And what
Pavlik.
is it with? He didn't like them. It's something about Jews, and they hate white guys, man.
Whoa.
They just hate them. I don't know what it is. They still haven't got over Rome kicking their asses for being little weasels.
Well, it's the
Going
old
back
ancient beef.
centuries
It's
ago.
an old ancient beef.
All right.
Go ahead, G
What?
Boogie.
This
It's an old
is
ancient. I was gonna say real quick. Kevin. It's a old ancient. You know, it's from the beginning of time. One of the most, biggest beef is the Gentile versus the Jew.
Yeah, but it's
Hey,
not.
caller.
He's not really bashing Gentiles. He's bashing white guys. So that's what's confusing. Is he's not really against Hispanics or African Americans. He likes to target out white dudes. I don't know what the fuck the deal is, but I think it goes back to the Roman times. The Romans
Of course.
really persecuted Jews, and they still haven't got over that. They still
Kevin turned
haven't
this
got
into a
over
political
that
show.
2,000 years later.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a.
Kevin, you turned it into a
But,
political show.
guys, I just had to get that off my chest.
Hey,
All
caller.
right.
This is
A lot of people look at him as a good guy. There's a lot of people that think he's like the good promoter. Al Heyman's a bad guy. Bob Arum's a good guy. Bob
Yeah, so
Arum is
the
just
black
as
guy.
big a piece of
It's
shit
easy to
as
point
Al
at the
Heyman.
black guy.
All right, we got to move on. Trudeau's telling us to move on. All right,
Yeah,
so
Trudeau's
we will
gonna
move
shut
on.
us down, Kevin.
Kevin, thank you for the
Thank-
phone call. Always controversial. Always controversial.
Kevin
Thank
makes
you.
good points, but
Kevin.
Jesus.
I just want to let you know something.
Yes.
My name is Harry Rosenblock. I'm from Brooklyn.
Harry
Shut
Rosenblum.
the hell up,
I just
Rosen.
want to say for the Jews out there that Bob Arum is a Meshuggah.
All right, we got another phone call. 315. You're on the air. 315.
315.
Yeah, what's up? This is one.
Sounds like upstate New York.
So y'all was cooking on Mayweather and Pacquiao. Was it good for boxing when it happened?
Yeah.
Well, when it happened, no.
When it happened,
No.
or after.
The whole after, like now, 2020.
Hell no, because they following that same pattern, man, that same formula. It's kind of like they made you wait all those years. It's like you wanting a sandwich and then they sell it to you 2 days late, and if you're hungry, you're gonna eat it, but it ain't gonna be nowhere near as good as when you wanted it. And they want the same price for the shit.
But caller, who do you put the blame on for cooking this fight as long as it did?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's spread. It's spread throughout because it's just greed. That's all it was. They were basically just milking their cash cows until they said, okay, now we got to do it before it's too late. You know what I mean?
That fight was 5 years overdue.
So who would you put the blame to? So who would you put the blame to? Mayweather, Pacquiao?
I mean, to be honest, it was both ways. I think it was more along the lines of, I mean, there was promoters involved. You know what I mean? Networks. Everybody
I'm going to
was
put
involved
this.
in that. So
My honest
point the finger
opinion,
at one of them guys.
in my honest opinion, I believe it was Mayweather because he cooked it too long. And then on the fight, which he could have prevailed even better, more convincingly, because he already knew and he already admitted that he knew Manny Pacquiao had an arm problem, and then they denied him for getting the steroid shot, which was legal, but yet he masked his PED, or should I say a legal term I need to rephrase and say, allegedly, that he took, and yet he knew already, and then he put a bullshit ass fight, a fight with a one-armed midget, like he so-called said.
I agree to a certain point, D Boogie, but at the same time, you got to blame Pacquiao for being complacent for the money. You know what I'm saying? I can't blame him for saying, "Look, man, I'm willing to play ball because I'm gonna get paid a lot of money for this fight."
But he couldn't back out of the fight. You remember that Boo Boy? They did an interview. Boo
Right,
Boy
couldn't back out because if not, they wasn't
was
sure
crying
that they could.
because he was like, "Dang, he ain't gonna, due to
Right.
the injury."
I agree.
But to be honest with y'all, I mean, you could chop that up and blame everybody for that. I mean, Mayweather, yeah, he did that stuff. Canelo, he does that stuff, and Pacquiao even did it, bringing people down to 144. You know what I mean? They all got that. That's just the A side thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
And
all
how
did
they
it. You're right
promote it.
about that. They all been
Yep.
guilty of that.
So I mean, it's easy to just say, okay, well, it's this guy. Of course, yeah, the formula is being used a lot by a lot of these fighters. I think it's awful. I think it's hurting boxing because
When
these
it
guys
comes
were
to
avoiding
black
seven.
versus Jew, I'm always on the black person's side. Just to let you know.
Well, to me it don't matter. But to be honest with you, it's like these guys today are following that formula. But the problem with that whole situation is they're ducking $7 million paydays, $120 million paydays. Like they're ducking money like coronavirus before it was even here. Now they're using this as an excuse, but it was like, man, you guys already had the patterns where you were ducking the big fights and trying to marinate them, and that's the problem, man. They're not giving us what we want.
Spence versus
them, man.
Crawford. They're trying to do the same thing on a lower level,
Yeah,
but at the same time they're trying to do the same thing. I can see it.
yeah, that's a fact. I mean, and same with Tank. They're trying to marinate that, and in the process, he's looking worse and worse.
And see, my point is, who started it was Mayweather. Ever since he left from Bob Arum, he went, did his thing. He brought Canelo in. Canelo learned the pattern from him, and now all the people you just mentioned are from the PBC and under Floyd Mayweather's management. So.
But I mean, you could go further back than that. I mean, Ray did that to Hagler. You know, he marinated that and kept slipping into retirement and hyping everybody up and holding a whole bunch of meetings where everybody was tuned in for his big announcement just for him to say he wasn't going to fight Hagler. And then later on, he finally did it, and it was a spectacular fight. But it's that marination process. You know, it's like some guys just do that, man. They hype you up and then let you down.
Yeah.
Well, it's a dangerous game, though, right? We've had many fights that were in the process of marination, and then the fucking thing burned.
Wilder.
Wilder against Joshua. Marination process didn't work. Yeah.
Right, and then somebody could get their butt kicked in the process. You know what I mean? Like Pacquiao got knocked out. You know what I mean? In the process, and then all of a sudden it was like, let's make the fight happen. You know?
Remember when that happened? Everybody was like, I don't even think Pacquiao comes back. I remember that. That the talk was, does Pacquiao even come back to boxing after getting knocked out like that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well,
he he's got something lined
sure
up.
Did.
I mean, he could take advantage of this thing right now. So big time. Like he could let like hopefully Bud and Spence get it on, and then he could go for unification and unify all the belts. He could be take a shot at undisputed after two young warriors after they come out of a war. The winner comes out of a war, then he could jump on the fight and go down as like a super legend. At this age with 4 titles, that would be insane.
I'm just hoping that this coronavirus puts more emphasis on each of the boxers now to want to make the fights and to be, if they got money in front of them, meaning they may not make the major amount of the money like they was doing prior to coronavirus, but it would encourage them to come out there now and say, let's make it happen.
Yeah, I think I heard someone cooking on that earlier, saying that they should learn not to take it for granted because it may not be there. So yeah, I hope it does too, man. I hope it makes these guys hungry again.
All right, exactly.
Too, man. I hope coronavirus makes them at least make big fights happen because they're gonna need to, so it'll be easier if you're dealing with any type of cross promotion situation. But I just think that I hold off on that, that optimism because I think when these guys start looking at the bottom line, you might see quite a few of them be like, "Yo, I'm not fighting." I'll give you an example. I'm not Wilder Fury. Both those guys say, "Look, I'm not fighting for half of what we made the last time. Fuck that. I'd rather fight for half what we made against other opponents. Dudes that are not that much of a threat."
Facts. I hear you. But yo, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Stay with that BDA.
Yo, 315. That's upstate, right? Upstate New York.
What's that?
315. That's upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah, that's upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah. I recognize
subscribe, yo.
1-2 kid. That's right.
My brother.
All right, man.
We from New York, man. We from New York.
Fuck New York. All right. All right, caller. Thanks for calling in, man. Take care.
We just said fuck New York. We're the true north.
Oh yeah.
Canada's in the house, motherfucker.
Well, some guy from the UK wanted to call. You can call now. I forgot your name. Kenshiro.
Hey, those guys in the UK, Bucho, just to give you when they calling in, they don't care about the money, man.
I don't think so. Well, letting you know, you're paying long distance, so you wanna hang up after?
Oh no, I've got a fairly cheap rate, dude.
Oh, okay, I don't even know how much you pay, but okay, go ahead.
About 2 cents a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, so I thought it was quite funny when I read it a few days ago about Lomachenko saying he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather, I guess for a super fight. And I thought to myself, well, you didn't want to fight Pacquiao because apparently he's too old.
Wait, caller, he really said that? He said he wanted to fight Mayweather?
Yeah, for a super fight. It's probably a few days ago. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
I didn't see it. I totally missed that.
Yeah. Well, if you go to Google, just type in, I guess, Lomachenko news, it will pop up. But yeah, and I thought to myself, well, hang on, why would you want to fight Mayweather when you said Pacquiao was too old?
Yeah, that makes
no.
Look,
I don't. He didn't. No. Hold on. He said that he would have liked to fight Floyd in his prime.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I've misread that because I read that very quickly. That's my mistake. That's cool. So, all right. So, what I wanted to say then is, in terms of the 5-year, I guess Mayweather Pacquiao anniversary, I guess you want to call it. I mean, I think the Pacquiao Mayweather fight was. I think a lot of people just got ripped off for this fight because I know obviously Pacquiao said afterwards that he had was a shoulder injury and he wanted to get an injection, but Floyd wouldn't allow him to do it. And I'm thinking, well, if you wanted to increase your chances of winning that bad, you should have held off. But obviously, I'm taking a guess that he thought maybe his time wouldn't come again. So, in my opinion, he took a Hail Mary shot. But unfortunately, that sort of made the rest of us fans and people watching the fight, we paid for it basically in a negative way. So I think it was a waste of time, that specific fight. I wish I never personally watched the fight.
Yeah. Do you think that it affected pay-per-view buys? Because it seems like pay-per-view buys got
I don't know what the pay-per-view.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know what the pay-per-views were in America. I think I read you guys were paying like $100. I mean, I think in England, we were paying maybe £40, which at the time the conversion was maybe like $60. I mean, that was still. I mean, that's probably the most we had to pay. It might be 30 or 40 English pounds that time, I believe. I can't remember it now. It was like 5 years ago. But I mean, you guys were paying $100.
Yep.
I mean, I would have been spitting feathers of paying $100 American that time if I was in America for that fight personally.
Yep.
It depends on certain fights. Yeah, we might have to pay $100.
But that was the only one I believe. Canada.
Yeah, I think wasn't that the only one?
Shit.
Wait, Canelo
75.
I feel like
no, they were all 75.
Right.
Man. It's always 75, except that one. That was insane. But
with me,
yeah, go ahead.
With me, I had, my wife is Filipina, so I had a whole tribe of Filipinos. Everybody chipped in whatever they did. We got the fight, put it on a big screen TV, or should I say the projector. So it was all good.
I hear that, man. You know they're huge supporters. They'll pay for any of his fights.
Here's a question though. This is the thing. So did Mayweather Pacquiao bring in new fans to the sport of boxing?
No, they didn't. They may have brought him in.
Well, let the
in
caller respond
beginning.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, caller.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, if they did bring any neutral fans in, those fans left after round 12 ended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. No, but because for sure there were new boxing fans watching because I mean, how many pay-per-view buys did that make? 4.2 million.
4.6.
Some shit like that.
Worldwide, it was like 6.5.
Shit. So there were new eyes watching. Well, like the caller said, they probably left after the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for example, you look at Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. Do you think if that had generated enough hype that time, and we had it now, for example? I mean, because Mayweather and Pacquiao. I mean, Pacquiao's a very quiet guy. Mayweather tries to be, I don't know, like he seems his mouth wide. He tries to be like to hype the fight up, like But you think if Mike Tyson or Lennox Lewis, I wonder if it was now. In their prime, but you think to yourself, would they have generated more now than they would at that time?
Yeah, that's a good question. All right. Anything else?
No, guys. No, thanks, mate. I think it's. One last thing. What do you think about people jumping on the bandwagon for Mike Tyson's 4 seconds of, punching in the video?
I mean, it's just the mystique of I mean, look, I gotta say this. At 53, him doing those work pads, he looks amazing. But, I can't see realistically him going in there and being strong enough to beat some of the big guys today. For more than he might be dangerous for like 2 rounds at best, but after that, I can't see it.
Caller, I'm gonna say this. Mike Tyson's probably a little bit older than me by 2, maybe 3. It looks good that he's, stayed in that little regimen and stuff, but it's in the past, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take.
Yeah.
Look, me and G Boogie are somewhere close to the same age. I think G might got me by a couple of years. I train in the gym. I'm still strong, but dude, man, you put me in there with a dude in his prime, big, strong dude. He starts tagging me up. I might just break down quick. You know what I'm saying? Like after I may look good until he starts hitting me, and that's probably what's gonna happen. Mike Tyson was in his 50s, bro. I mean,
it's one combination. Let's just put it that way. It's a single combination. Let's calm down. A fight is a fight. There's more. Yeah.
I'll say maybe a 3-round, 2-minute exhibition fight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he probably could still get down, man. He could beat the average population, I bet you.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I bet you he could beat even at 53, I bet you he could beat some 30-year-old tough dude. You know what I'm saying? That could fight.
Yeah.
But going with an elite athlete that's still at 35 or within their prime, and they're 6'7", 6'9", yeah, that's a little bit too much to ask for a 53-year-old that's 5'10". Come on.
Yeah, I mean, considering you look at Mike Tyson in his last 2 fights against Danny Williams and the Irish fighter, I can't remember his name, but Mike Tyson was 37, 40 years old. Do you think, is Mike going to be better now than he would have been 37 and 40? I mean, I'll personally say no. Maybe the motivation might be stronger now, but his body won't be as strong as it was.
Yeah, caller, you hit it right on the right now. Look, he's a guy who has so much talent that he got away with it. Even when he made mistakes, he was able to still make money. Now he's got his life in order.
Yeah.
He probably will give boxing all he got back when he was first starting. The problem would be is that his body won't be able to hold up. Look, I don't like Deontay Wilder, but if Deontay Wilder clips him, Mike Tyson's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He will get hurt,
Yeah, he's not young like he used to be. Before he took hellacious punches and walked right through them and delivered his own punches. But remember, he was in his 20s, and early 20s, mid 30s. So it's totally different when you're older. You know, you may not recover faster from the concussion.
Yeah. I mean, I understand you got Bernard Hopkins who was still doing it 50 years old, and George Foreman at 45. But you think, I don't think they had as much wear or tear. I mean, with Tyson, he had like this specific New York style when they sort of just go hell for leather for the first 100 meters and sort of not destroy his body, but you know what I mean. He really fought 20 fights in the first, like I can't remember, a few years. So you know, you think he really went for it, but then you think, I know Bernard Hopkins, I said, is in the 50 and George Foreman is 45, but I don't think Mike Tyson could personally do what they did at their very late age, personally. And I'm a big fan of him.
Caller, I look at it like this. Mike Tyson is more comparatively to a sprinter, while Bernard Hopkins and George Foreman are
marathon runners.
Long distance marathon runners, because they didn't allow in their careers to get too battered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Big Mike, man, was like the caller said, man. When he first started out, man, that guy loved boxing. You could tell that was fun for him. You know, after he came out of prison, it was a business. You can tell, and now he took a long layoff. I mean, and he probably loves it more now. Like, it's not that he loves it more now. He's bringing back memories of, like, you know, and he's calm now, because that's what happens. Maybe it takes a little longer for certain people, but he's more calm now, and he appreciates boxing more. He's probably thinking to himself, I could do this. I still love it. You know, I could do this. But when he gets hit by a big punch, man, he'll know that he can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wonders if Customato never died and Jimmy Jacobs never died and Kevin Rooney, but that's ifs and whats, you know what I mean? But it does make me wonder if those three guys are still around until his end of the career. Could we be comparing him to Muhammad Ali? Potentially.
I mean, you could still compare him to Muhammad Ali, in my opinion, but he's probably not. You know, in terms of like legacy, he's not going to be over Muhammad Ali in terms of legacy.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. But guys, I'll leave you guys to it. But no, you know, because the other callers probably want to call him. But thank you very much, and I love your videos that you make of the local deadbeat community, man. Keep it up. I love those videos, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for watching.
All right,
call back again. Take care.
Mate.
I will do.
Great call. Oh yeah, I posted another LDBC Try Not to Laugh video. Check it out. Pretty fucking funny. I didn't even know that Barbershop Fred called the Las Vegas. No, it's not Las Vegas. Nevada State Athletic Commission. Nevada State Commission. And what the fuck? He calls in. Yeah, I'm calling in about the gloves. And then the lady's like, sure, but about the gloves. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Right, like that could mean a million things.
hey, King Bucho, I want to give a shout out to Toby Bartlett for breaking it down at the end, and that was cool.
Oh, that was the guy. Toby Bartlett. The guy at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who that was. All right.
He comes on the panel. I mean, not the panel, but the live chats.
Where?
On BDA and a couple of other people.
Oh, Toby yeah, there's a
Oh, that's
Toby
him.
That comes. He watches the videos. He talks on the live chat.
Oh, I didn't know that shit. How did you know this? All right. Oh, yeah.
I've seen him.
That's a great comment.
I'll tell you why, King Bucho.
Okay.
We pay attention.
Exactly. There's so many names. I mean, yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, it was a great comment that he made. How to put it in the video. People, the phone lines are open. Oh, we got another phone call. And by the way, the DSFG, you are scared, man. You're talking all this shit in the chat. Yeah, DSFG doesn't want to debate.
Danny Garcia is undefeated. That's
Danny
a fact.
Garcia. Right, send him a link. Doesn't want to join. All right. 626. You're on the air. 626.
Hey, what's up, Bucho? How you doing?
What's up? Who is this?
This is Claudio calling from Pasadena, California.
Ah, okay. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Oh no, just calling to talk about the topic you guys Pacquiao versus Mayweather.
Ah, yeah. Your thoughts?
Well, and honest, I mean, as a hardcore fan, before the fight happened, I really didn't think the fight was going to be that good because, basically after Pacquiao got knocked out by Marcus, I really didn't think he was going to fight as aggressive as he did before, which he needed to do to even have a chance to beat Mayweather, I think. And I knew Mayweather wasn't going to be was just going to be, fight on the back foot the whole, basically the whole fight, which, he did. Just use his reach. And I think one of the things that made the fight, really boring was every time they did get in close, a lot of time, Mayweather would clinch him, or even sometimes, he'll put him in, a couple times in the fight, he put him in the headlock. I don't know if you remember that. I think 3 times. You remember that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it was a lot of Mayweather holding on like he did throughout the ending of his career. Punch, hold, get out of the way. He did a lot of that shit. Yeah.
Kenny Bayless didn't help. Go on.
And you know what's crazy? Mayweather, he grabbed Pacquiao in the headlock like 3 times, and which Fury did to Wilder, but in that fight, Kenny Bayless, he took a point from
yeah, exactly.
From
man.
But when
all you gotta do is
you
guys gotta go back to the knockdown.
He didn't warn him or nothing. He was just he just
go to the first knockdown, caller.
Broke it up. I was like, that's.
Go to the first knockdown of when Wilder got knocked down by Fury. You're gonna look at Kenny Bayless. He looks at Fury like he didn't know what the fuck to do. He's like, "Damn, man, this is gonna be hard. What do I do?" And then when he heard the ref counting, he just started counting too. He was lost. He didn't know what to do at that moment.
Yes, and I know a lot of casual people watched that fight. I mean, at that time, it broke the record, right? I don't think, but I think it was turbo for. I don't think it brought in no new fans at all. I mean, most people looked at that fight like, man, what was that?
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, some people were asking me, is this a normal boxing fight? Oh, it looked boring. That's why I prefer MMA. And I was like, fuck, no, this isn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't explain it to them. It was horrible.
Yeah. And before I go, I just want to, Bucho, did you ever see that fight between, I think it was when Marquez was first coming up, when he lost to some fighter named Norwood. I think his name was Fred Norwood, some black dude. Did you ever see that fight?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think about? Did you think Marquez lost, or what did you think about?
I don't remember the whole thing, but I think he did lose. Same as Barrera.
Yeah.
There was some controversy with
I was just.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just looking at that fight the other day. I was like, just like the most, with the quarantine and stuff going on. But anyway, you guys keep up the good work and good show.
All right. Thanks for the phone call. All right. Let's get DSFG. Are you there?
BDA. You know I do not duck no one.
All right.
Never
wait, hold on. Somebody has a bunch of wind. Is it recognized?
That's DSFG. Now, he got a bunch of wind.
I always blame recognize with the noise. DSFG, you have a lot of wind.
Yeah, my bad.
All right.
Because you're blowing in the wind.
What's up, man? So what are you talking about in the chat, man? Come on. What are you saying? Pacquiao? Did you say Mayweather 3, Pacquiao 0? What does that mean?
Oh, what I was saying was, first thing I heard was putting the blame on both sides of promoters and fighters, and that's the situation. But I put more so the blame on Pacquiao for
Well, I'm not
delaying
surprised.
the no, because May has May had reasons which turned out to be good reasons, but then also that period, that time frame that caused a delay, it add more money to the pot anyway. So that's still a win-win, even though it was delayed years later. You know what I'm saying? So they eventually made it happen, obviously. So
Yeah, but it was good money for them, bro. We're talking about for the boxing fan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Like it
still a
ain't make you
win-win, but
money, right?
it's more so on a win for Mayweather than anything. And then you know,
It doesn't
part
matter.
two.
He
Okay,
still
DSG, was it a good? Was this fight good for boxing fans in the long term? Did it bring in new fans? Do you think?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
look. I
Oh,
can
okay.
only
Well,
speak
I
for
don't know what to
myself. I
say.
remember there was a lot of people there that weren't boxing fans when I went to go watch it with my friends. We had a big boxing, it was a big Maypac party. Yo, the casuals were like disgusted. They didn't even discuss who won the fight. They didn't care. They was like, yo, that was a boring ass fight for all
They
that money.
casuals, bro. So what they point? Like, what are you gonna say?
Their point was they weren't entertained, my brother. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But
They
if you were
were
not
not
entertained,
entertained.
hold on, are you talking about the Mayweather and Pacquiao first fight?
They only had one fight. Yeah, I'm talking about that fight.
Exactly. So how can you not be entertained by that first fight, which it was very entertaining, and it definitely did the numbers that it did, and
Well, it did the
definitely was.
numbers anticipation, bro. That's not that has nothing to do with the fight itself.
So some people might disagree with those casuals, which I disagree with those casuals.
Listen, I liked it.
So
I liked it because I know what I'm watching. I liked it because
oh,
there was some style there that I saw
no, no, no,
that I
no.
could appreciate.
The thing was about that first fight. And people gotta be honest with themselves. Just acknowledge Mayweather's the GOAT. He's decades ahead of Pacquiao. He can beat
No,
Pacquiao
he's
any day,
not. No, he's
anytime,
not.
any
No, he's
year.
not.
Hold
He would
on,
have.
you
It would
cut
have
me off, bro.
manifested itself in
Hold
the
on, bro. You
ring.
cut me off, bro. All I'm saying is he one-sided victory Pacquiao. That's the reason why you might feel as though it was a downside because it wasn't no back and forth 50-50 situation because Mayweather didn't make it so. And he already told you he was going to outshine, outclass, outbox Pacquiao, which he did.
Which he
And he
didn't.
could have
Which
went
he
for the
didn't.
knockout, which he did not,
Which
but
he
he let it go
didn't.
to
He
12
didn't not. He
for a
didn't
reason.
outshine.
Hold on, he
He
let it
just
go to
got the
12 for
decision.
a reason to prove a point, which he did. And then part
Prove a
two
point.
was delayed based on Pacquiao. So two reasons out for Pacquiao for both reasons, bro. So reason we didn't get the part two because of
It's because of
Pacquiao.
Mayweather.
Because
Because
No,
it's
of
Pacquiao.
Mayweather.
Pacquiao excuses of injury, bro.
It's because of Mayweather. He'd rather
Nah, bro.
fight Berto. He'd rather fight a guy
And
No,
who
bro.
doesn't
retire.
No, bro.
box,
No, bro.
McGregor.
I mean,
He'd rather
let me get
fight
you
some
caught
little
up, bro.
Asian
I
kickboxer.
want to get you. I want to get you caught up real quick. Mayweather said to Pacquiao, "I will give you that rematch, no problem. I will give you that." Mayweather always keep his word when it comes to a rematch. Would you forget?
Oh yeah,
You know
sure he
what I'm
does.
saying?
Like he
He
kept his
always
word
keep
with
his
De La
word
Hoya.
for a rematch. But
Did he keep his word with De La
Mayweather,
Hoya?
hold on, bro,
He
hold on,
didn't.
bro. So you must been not fill in with that part of the situation after the fight. The
Oh, you
reason
mean
why that fight
facts?
never happened because Pacquiao excuses of an injury. Dog, you know how much
Ah,
money that would be
stop! Come
for a part
on,
two
man. If
right
you really
after
want
that,
to fight a
and Mayweather
dude the
comes back
second time around,
right behind
listen.
that for a bigger payday, bro? You think part one was bigger payday? Part two was twice to 10 times more. Why
No, it's
wouldn't he
not.
do
No, it's
that?
not.
That's
No,
money
no, it's
Mayweather we
not.
talking
First of
about.
all, no, it's
It was
not.
the
No,
principle,
it's not.
bro. Mayweather said it was the principle. Pacquiao said
DFSG.
Pacquiao could
Listen,
have
bro.
said nothing.
It's a
Pacquiao
dialogue.
should
Let
have
me
said
speak.
nothing.
Let me
Let,
let me
let
get
him
out of your
talk.
Pacquiao,
way.
DSG, come on. Go ahead,
Let me
recognize.
speak. Let me speak. Okay, first of all, the second fight was not going to be a bigger. It's not going to be a bigger event than the first fight.
you okay? You okay?
Many fans were disappointed with the fight, the outcome of the fight. Okay, it was
You
disgusting.
okay?
That's what they thought. Second, you are the same guy. You are the same
Hold on,
guy
bro. Don't bring
that
nothing
makes
up.
up.
Don't bring no
Hold on, let me
sides.
finish, man.
Don't
Let me
bring no.
finish.
No. We talking about
Yo,
Mayweather and Pacquiao.
DSG,
Don't bring
I'm
nothing
not going
else
to
up.
speak to you if you're not going to let me finish.
No, I'm saying don't
Let me
bring nothing
finish.
up besides Mayweather and Pacquiao, bro.
No, 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 no,
That's
no,
no
He
no.
good.
I'm
can
going to bring up
to
you.
compare.
Shut
Come
your
on.
mouth for a second.
Okay, compare it then. Go
Okay?
ahead, compare.
Okay, listen. You're the same guy that came up with a bunch of excuses for Deontay Wilder, and you demanding a rematch in the third fight against Fury. So you
I
should
already
shut.
know
You
you're
have
gonna go
nothing
there
to
with it. I
say.
already know you're gonna go there with it.
You
So
got nothing to say.
Negative. Move on.
Negative
Move on from
nothing.
that.
You do. Am I
Negative.
lying?
Move on from that
Does he not
before I
come up
go
with
in on you,
excuses for
bro.
Wilder all the time?
Bro, Mayweather and Pacquiao. That's the topic,
Just
right?
hold that
So,
L, DSFG. Hold that L.
Yeah,
Hold that
come
L.
on, man.
ain't hold no
Hold
L,
that
bro.
L.
You ain't. What are you talking about?
Hold that
L,
L, man. You just took a L, bro. That's okay.
Ain't, to who? To you? You
Yeah.
casual our body a long time
You
ago,
easy
bro.
work.
Like,
You
I
easy
body
work.
you already, bro. Like
You easy
you ain't
work,
giving
little
me
man.
no L, dog.
You easy work, little man.
Anyway,
You don't
back
know
to the
boxing.
topic. Back to the
You
main
don't know
topic, which
boxing.
was Mayweather and Pacquiao. Is it good for
Little
boxing? Was
man,
it
you
bad
don't
for
know
boxing?
boxing.
I
How
think
was it good for boxing, the SFG? How
Hold
is
on,
it good
bro.
for boxing? When was the
Hold
last
on,
time we
bro.
got a $1 million fight, though?
All I'm saying is, okay, let's picture
A
this though.
million pay-per-view. Okay, go ahead.
Let's hypothetically speak. Let's say Mayweather comes back right after this quarantine.
Oh God.
You think that won't be a major impact for boxing? And also is for part two with Pacquiao, who's Pacquiao is waiting for, and Mayweather part two. That's why he's sticking around.
I don't know, man. Do you think
Come on, man,
people
think
would
about
want to
it, bro.
watch a 44-year-old Mayweather fight a 42-year-old Pacquiao?
The age don't matter, bro. The age don't
Wait,
matter right now. The age do
whoa.
not matter.
That's hyperbole.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying,
just
bro,
because you say
listen.
it doesn't make it so, man. I mean,
Hold on. Let me say this, BDA. Mayweather
Bucho. Go
said
ahead.
this before. It's like, y'all, do you even watch Mayweather interviews, bro? He been asked,
No.
yo, you come back.
I
He
don't
said,
really
man,
care
listen,
to.
I don't
I can
watch
come
that shit.
back. I can come back and get Pacquiao that work again. You know what I'm saying? Easy work. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay, how does that prove that people want to watch him fight again at 44?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that doesn't
no,
mean
listen.
shit.
You gotta give the same. You gotta give the same respect.
You just took
to
a
May-
L.
hold on, bro.
You
Hold on,
just
bro.
took an
Hold on,
L,
bro. You gotta give the
DFG.
same
Yes.
respect to like how you have for Pacquiao. You gotta have the same respect for Mayweather. Age is just a number in this situation. We know Mayweather always in good shape. He's ready to fight the next day. He always training, hard work, dedication. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you
Same thing
convinced
with
me.
Pacquiao. He's hard work, dedication. He always training. They always
How does
ready to
that
fight, ready to
prove?
go. And on top of that, people are sitting on money, bro. They want boxing back so bad, bro. We be fiends to watch a good fight. And you tell me what would be a bigger fight than the Mayweather Part 2 with Pacquiao than any other fight right now after
Did you
the
see the
quarantine.
first fight, DSFG? Did you see the first fight?
The first fight was epic, bro. What you mean?
Yo, man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I'll tell you what people want to see right now. A unification heavyweight match. That's all. Not no Pacquiao. Not no Dan Mayweather.
I
Yeah, that's
disagree.
delusional.
I
That's
disagree.
insane, man.
But listen,
People
that's
want to see
Mayweather's
Terrence
choice.
Crawford versus
That's a
Spence
choice
more
he
than
can
want to
make
see
right now, today or tomorrow. He could say, "I'll come back tomorrow," and he'll shut down boxing and bring
No,
back
he
boxing.
won't.
No,
and
he
make
won't.
a grand entrance
Yo.
on boxing. And Pacquiao was signed for it.
He wouldn't shut down
You
boxing.
think
Hey, I
Pacquiao
tell
will
you
turn
what,
it down?
DSFG, I have a question for you.
You think Pacquiao gonna wait for Bud, Keith,
DSFG.
anybody in the welterweight division, bro? No, he'd be like, no, Pacquiao, Mayweather. Boom, that's it.
Hey,
It's done.
DSFG, how many pay-per-view buys did Mayweather and Andre Berto make?
It was I can't recall off top, but it's always numbers with
400,000.
Mayweather, bro.
400,000.
It's always numbers with Mayweather. You can't say
400,000. Nobody gives a shit.
400,000. 400K. Nobody cares.
All right, well, tell me. Okay, we can go down the list, bro.
I'm
Y'all
just
know
saying,
this
he want to
Mayweather
say.
name,
I mean,
bro.
it's a
What you talking
fact.
about?
Now, if he has a good dance partner, but the problem here is that he's way older now. And we already saw what happened in that first Pacquiao fight. And Pacquiao is old as
mention
well.
the
So,
age, bro? You can't keep mentioning the age, bro. When Pacquiao is saying like, ain't he younger than Mayweather? Come on, man.
like a year, 2 years.
All right, but it's still around the same age, bro, and they still in the gym.
I mean, I'm
and
not
hard
saying
work,
that fight wouldn't
dedication.
sell. Listen, he would sell, but he wouldn't make nowhere near the same amount of pay-per-view buys that he did the first fight.
First of all,
You
Mayweather
doubt
can't
Mayweather
even
star
box
power.
All
Okay,
right, here's a
you doubt
DSFG.
Mayweather clout, bro.
Would you rather see
you doubt the A side of Mayweather, bro? Come on, man.
DSFG? Would you rather see Fury against Joshua or Pacquiao against Mayweather too?
Mayweather Pacquiao too. You know why?
I knew it. I knew
No,
it.
get the hell out of here.
Hold on,
That's
Let me
it,
tell you
man.
this. Let me tell you
Just
why.
gonna say it to say it.
Because let me tell you why. Because I feel as though Mayweather, he should have knocked out Pacquiao in the first fight, but he said he wasn't going to
He didn't
do
even
that.
come
He was
close to
hold
Oh,
on. He said he was going to hold on. He said he was going to outclass him, outbox him, one-sided victory Pacquiao, which he did. So part
because
two,
that's the
the
only
only
thing he
reason,
can do.
part two,
GSFG,
part
because he
two
cannot knock him
will
out.
be the
Obviously, he's
only
gonna.
reason why Mayweather comes back is for a knockout officially.
So you think
and
that
get knocked
Mayweather could
out.
have
If
knocked
he
out
goes for the
Pacquiao?
knockout, he gets knocked out.
Of
Yeah.
course. What you mean? You ain't see the first fight?
So you think Mayweather could have knocked out
Nigga, he
Pacquiao?
almost knocked him out when he tried to
He can knock out Pacquiao
when he tried to
anytime,
hold his
any day of
ground.
the week, bro.
All right.
That's how I know you don't know that fight, that first fight, bro, because y'all tripping.
I know you don't
Yeah.
know it. I know you don't know it. I
Nah,
know that.
you don't know it, bro.
Okay.
All right.
DFG, man,
But I was trying to go
you're a
deep
little
to another
homie.
topic, but
You're a little
we can
homie.
stop
You're a
there.
little.
Hey, DSFG, I think we have callers that want to talk to you. 509, you're on the air.
Okay. Let it sink in, casuals.
Suzaku 92.
I'm
Yeah,
talking in
what's up?
general, though.
You want to talk to DSFG?
Yeah, no, I was kind of with him when I was saying that it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for boxing. I mean, it wasn't good
It
either.
held the standard, bro. It held the
Sort of
standard.
boxing would have been the same shitty place that it was during those years. This was in 2016?
15.
15.
15? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was a shitty year for boxing. I think that was when the PBC was putting those shitty fights.
No, that ain't facts, man. That's not facts. Not facts.
Well, facts. Yeah, that was 2014, 2015, right? That's when Heyman got that big money to spend, and he just started giving all his fighters like $2 million a fight.
Yeah.
Some random fighter.
He paid him
Yeah,
18% over.
So I don't think
on average.
Yeah, so I don't think it would have been. I mean, we should just all take the L. We all the hardcore boxing fans, we should just take the L for that Manny Pacquiao, because we should have known what was gonna happen. Exactly what happened. Like Floyd, he does that at every fight. You know, he wasn't gonna slug with Pacquiao. So the casuals. I mean, they wanted to see a war, but I mean, we should have known better. We should have known that wasn't gonna happen. But we all thought maybe Pacquiao could knock out Floyd, and he didn't, obviously.
So you agree that the fight sucked?
What was that?
You agree that the fight sucked?
Yeah, the fight sucked, but I mean,
the fight didn't suck, bro.
I mean, it was.
It did.
Either way.
It did.
SFG, you're insane.
That's. Hey, can you hear me?
Listen, let me tell you this, right? How
Yeah,
can
Jimmy.
that fight suck?
Jimmy,
Hold on,
I
how
can
can
hear you,
that fight? Hold on, how can you say that when Mayweather outclassed Pacquiao and he went toe to toe with Pacquiao and he was on the back foot with Pacquiao?
He didn't.
He one-sided victory Pacquiao. What you talking about?
Oh, he was clinching the whole time.
He was not clinching the whole time, bro. That's wrong, dog. Listen,
When he was in trouble, he was clinching.
Yeah.
Nah,
he was
bro.
scared.
He didn't go toe to toe
bro.
with the DSG. Kind of has a point though.
He gave
Why does
listen
it suck
from
if that's what
one
Floyd
to
was gonna
fifth
do?
round. He outboxed Pacquiao on the back foot, and then 8th round on, he was dominant, front foot dominant on Pacquiao, catching
What's
him
front
with
foot
crazy,
dominant? What's
crazy
front?
counter
Explain to me
punches,
front foot
and he was
dominant.
walking
Explain
Pacquiao
to me
down.
front.
So he gave you two
DFG,
styles.
DSFG, hold on.
Pacquiao. That's what you're not getting.
All right, hold
Take
on.
your boxing skills.
Pacquiao couldn't
What's
do
front foot
nothing. That's why it was so boring.
All right,
He
hold
couldn't
on.
do
All right,
nothing.
we get the point. Recognize.
He doesn't know what
And
front
Mayweather
foot
was not
dominant
running
is.
either. So
Oh
yeah.
man, Jesus. All right, hold on. Recognize.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I don't think he even knows what front foot dominant means. I don't think he could. I don't think he could see what front foot dominant is and be able to
Bro,
identify
go
it.
recap the fight,
I'm
bro.
talking
Go
about
recap the
DFG because
fight.
he would never say that he
Go
was front
recap the
foot
fight, bro.
dominant in that fight.
So you saying Mayweather didn't walk Pacquiao down in
Floyd
that
wasn't
fight?
dominant.
Are you saying
Do you know what front
Mayweather
foot
didn't
dominant
walk
means?
Pacquiao down?
Do you know what
Anyone
front foot
disagree
dominant
that
means?
thought Floyd lost?
Do you?
Go ahead. Wait, hold on. Caller. Go
Of
ahead.
course I do. That's why I'm asking you, dummy.
All right, hold on.
Why do you think I'm asking you?
All right,
I
hold
already
on.
bodied you already,
Recognize.
yo. I'm talking to BDA already. I already bodied you already.
Let's
I'm
relax.
talking to BDA.
Let's all calm
All right,
down.
listen. Let me ask you this, BDA.
Already
Who
bodied
fight
you.
would be
You're a
bigger
little
right
man.
now, though?
Hold
These
on.
two
Couldn't body nobody, little
DSFG,
man.
somebody has a
fight.
question for you. 509. Go ahead.
Yeah. What the fuck? Oh yeah. I said we all thought Floyd won, right?
Yep. Well,
The fight point was.
No, I don't think so. But go
I think
ahead.
it was close
Do
because
you
some
know
people
what
saying
one-sided
Pacquiao. I
victory
wouldn't fucking
means?
blame
You
them,
thought Pac won?
but I had Floyd winning slightly.
Yeah, same.
So,
Same here.
as boxing fans, we know what one-sided victory means, don't we?
Yeah, we know what a
One-sided
Okay.
one-sided victory
victory. What do you
means.
mean?
Okay. So all I'm saying is this: a follow up with the Mayweather possible Pacquiao too. What if Clarissa Shields and Layla Ali comes in effect after the quarantine?
I don't watch
I
women.
don't
I
give
don't
a
watch
shit.
bitches
What does it
fight,
have
man.
to
I
do with
don't know.
anything?
Ali's 50 years old.
What the fuck?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just throwing it
What
out there.
the hell kind of analogy
Hold
is
on.
Dude, he's
that?
Jesus, calm
stupid. I'm
down.
telling
G
you.
Boogie,
He
G
doesn't
Boogie,
know
G
what
Boogie.
front
Holy
foot
shit.
means.
Hey,
He don't
BDA.
I'm
know.
just
He
saying
don't know what
if
front
bigger
foot
Bucho.
fight
is.
happens
Like I
after the
don't understand.
quarantine, it would be those fights.
All right.
All right. Bucho.
Yes.
All right. Can I just make a point? I just don't want to get in an argument. I don't want to be. I'm not here to body
Sorry,
anybody
Jimmy.
in
Go
that
ahead,
bullshit.
man.
No. It's not you, dude. I just wanted to say, first off, not to throw my shoulder out, pat myself on the back. But who in what podcast is the only one been constantly saying this Mayweather's coming back? Have I not been saying that? Have I not been yelling that from the fucking rooftops?
Yes.
Yes,
You
sir.
have.
All right. That being said, right, and everybody, when I first said it a few months ago, when I
Yeah.
first heard real rumors of it, and again, my rumor mill usually comes true because listen, the reason why I didn't order the first fight, I think I waited 3 years before I watched the first fight. I mean, yeah, it was like 3 years. I think it was after I called into the show the first time. I figured I might as well sit down and watch it, and it was objectively horrible fight. And listen, I'm a Mayweather fan, dude. Haven't I said one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen by a professional boxer was in 2001 against Castillo.
Oh yeah.
That was
Corrales.
fucking Corrales. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
fucking against Corrales. Thank you, brother. That was one of the most dominant performances I've
He
ever
fought
seen.
front foot dominant and back foot dominant.
Just
Which
everything.
this stupid
It was
idiot
a
DMC
working
doesn't know
class.
nothing about.
But that being said,
Okay,
now
Cassie.
we're dealing with the Mayweather at this stage of his career. Listen, this is right now for both of them. It's about money. As fans, all right. Not let's step back out of the. As fans, I'm offended. Both these motherfuckers, Pacquiao and Mayweather, as talented as they both are, first ballot Hall of Famers, all their greatness aside, they're taking us for a ride. This
I
fight
agree.
doesn't need to be happen. It shouldn't happen. The first fight I was told 3 weeks before the fight, I got the call. Don't lay any money down. If you do, definitely go to Mayweather, but because Pacquiao's shoulder's definitely fucked up. It was the worst kept secret in boxing going into that fight. I lost so
I
much respect
disagree.
for
I
Pacquiao because he
disagree.
could have fucking said no. He could have
I
stopped it,
disagree.
put it off, but
How do you
so
disagree with that, TCFG? What do you disagree with?
DFG doesn't know nothing. He just hangs
I
out in the
disagree
box.
with that.
DSG, right, brother? Hold on, brother. Let me tell you something. You know Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, that fight, right, in Vegas? You probably have a lot of point of views on that, right? I was there, kid. All right.
You're
I've
talking
been
about a
around
dude
this
who's in the
game.
inside of
you were
boxing,
there?
bro. He's in there. You hang out on the street corner
You were in
talking
the
to your
building?
boys.
You
Dude,
were in.
I was in a playpen with Mickey Ward. My
All right,
grandfather's in the Hall of Fame as a trainer.
Let me
Dude,
say,
I'm not a
I
fucking,
respect. I
I'm not a
respect
kid who
that.
just watched a couple of YouTube
I
videos.
respect your stance on your
Is he talking over me, man?
on your
Fucking
boxing,
kid,
right?
don't.
But what I'm saying to you is this: go recap Pacquiao and Mayweather part
I
one.
don't need to
Okay?
recap it, dude.
No.
I don't need to recap it.
And
I was
what? And
told.
then what?
I think you
Then
need to.
what?
Because
Use your
obviously,
third eye, Jimmy. Use your third eye.
Okay, I was told
no,
his shoulder was hurt, and by his performance.
some
And
people forget how great
let's
that
put on
fight
how
was,
bad
and
that
you
fight
might need to
was.
go
Do you
recap,
know
buddy.
that they just got it thrown out of court now? It took 5 years, but finally they did get thrown out of court. Do you know there was a class action lawsuit with 22,000 people suing Showtime in Mayweather Productions for that fight? 22,000 people were so viscerally bothered by how horrible of a
All right, so
representation
let
that
me
was
ask you
for our
about that.
sport
Okay,
that my family has given their blood for over a century, brother. So let me just tell you that. I'm not a fucking just a fair weather fan. That was an insult to everything boxing was. That was the biggest boxing
Hey, Bucho, I have a question.
boxing on
Amen.
its
I
largest
disagree.
scale,
I
Amen.
and it
disagree.
laid an egg. End of
I
story.
disagree.
That's fact.
You
Hey, I have a
disagree with the
question for you
SFG.
guys. So
Nobody
if
cares.
let's
All
say
right, hold on. Let's finish with
let's
the
just say
callers.
Pac wins.
509. Go ahead. Last
Yeah.
comment, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what would have been a good outcome? Like But let's say Pacquiao KOs Floyd. Like, so you're saying all the shit that we have. I mean, like, we would still have the same shit going on in boxing, where we would have a political division. Like,
Boxing's a shell of its former self.
You know what was a good? You know what was a good outcome? Mayweather versus Cotto. That was a good outcome. They both fought.
Can I ask you a question?
Any of those.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, DSFG.
What will be your talking points if part one with Mayweather would have been vice versa if Pacquiao was the one who won side of victory with Mayweather?
See, I didn't care. I didn't like either one either more than the other.
Yeah, Jimmy didn't really care about that.
I was never a huge either fan either way. So I just wanted a good fight because I knew the large scale. This fight had the opportunity of, obviously, when you sell over 5 million pay-per-views, you have grabbed a casual audience that was astronomical.
I watched the fight live, bro.
The papers, headlines all around the country read it was a dog. Listen, I mean, I could pull up fucking news story after news story. They dogged it on fucking ESPN. They dogged it on Showtime.
Yeah, everybody dogged it, bro.
Everybody dogged that fight. That fight was a black eye for the sport.
Watching, bro.
Everybody did. No, TSFG, you gotta admit the fact that
TSFG, how old is he? First of all, he's like 21, right? So he wouldn't remember.
First of all, Pacquiao came straight out the gate. Pacquiao was coming straight out the gate. First of all, so that was exciting from that standpoint of how you you know.
It was 12 rounds. It was 12.
But
12
listen,
rounds.
Mayweather schooled him. I got nothing against Pacquiao, but it is what it is. He showed a superior difference in that fight, which he displayed. And he also quoted and said himself that's what he's going to do. Obviously, that went over your casual heads. So that's why I said go recap the fight and acknowledge.
We got another phone call. We got another phone call.
This guy is funny, man.
All right, 509. Thanks for calling in. All right, we're gonna take another phone call.
That's his quotes, not mine, bro.
719. Hey, hold on. Hold on. I don't care. 719. You're in the air. 719.
I think it has a lot to do with the law.
Yeah,
Some of the shit he says.
Good point.
I'm gonna say he's like 20.
How many of y'all was picking Pacquiao in that fight?
What's that?
How many of y'all on the panel was picking Pacquiao in that fight?
I had Pacquiao winning that fight. I mean, my prediction was.
I had Mayweather.
Yeah, so
I even put money on it.
I had Mayweather too. So I had Mayweather winning that fight.
It really sound like most of y'all salty that Floyd didn't just stand there and let Manny Pacquiao hit him in the fucking face.
No, he was clinching.
That made it a better fight.
Every time he was in trouble, he was clinching. Every time he was in trouble, he clinched, and he was pathetic.
Fucking clinching.
He was pathetic.
Pacquiao
Look at the picture. I even posted.
And Mayweather sat there flipping
No,
his
it was
punches
pathetic.
and not being able to land shit. So I guess.
And then
He
had Kenny Bayless.
How many times you rewatched that fight?
Oh, he's gonna tell you 50 times.
Bro.
No, listen. It doesn't matter. No.
I know every single
He
round
was
by heart,
clinching.
bro, so you're not telling me nothing.
He had Kenny Bayless in there, like always. I mean, he even had Kenny Bayless in Japan when he fought that 5'3" Japanese kickboxer. All right, that is pathetic.
So wait.
That is an embarrassment for somebody who's supposed to be one of the greatest boxers of all time.
Exactly, bro.
All
right.
That Manny Pacquiao.
Embarrassment.
Is it Floyd fault that fight was bad? Is that what y'all saying?
No, both of them were disappointing.
Both of them. They both
of them.
Stunk out the joint. They both embarrassed themselves in the sport.
Disagree.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I know you disagree, SFG. I know you disagree. But caller, go ahead.
It was up to Manny Pacquiao to make that fight a good fight.
No,
why was it
both.
up to Manny
Why?
Like
Pacquiao,
y'all
not
want to act
Floyd?
like it's Mayweather.
Well, one guy was
Floyd
clinching.
had
What Floyd was gonna do.
One guy was initiating the clinches.
But the whole point is now, what about Mayweather and Pacquiao too? So you're not interested in that?
Not at all.
Not really, bro.
I would sooner brush my teeth with Ethel Westbrook.
Okay, let me ask you this: you
I'd
think
rather watch
Pacquiao
paint dry.
in that fight? You think Pacquiao himself not interested in part two?
No.
It's
No,
Pacquiao.
God, no. It's a
They're
fucking
old.
cash grab.
DFG.
It's a dude who has to pay for his
Pacquiao
daughter's
would take
fucking
that fight
rough
any day.
team.
If Mayweather goes and fights Pacquiao now, and Pacquiao beats him, Pacquiao's not gonna get that much points for that. Let me explain to you why. Mayweather's he hasn't fought. Hold on, shut up, man. Let me just say my point real quick. The reason he ain't gonna get that much credit for it, other than for himself, Like, look, this is a personal thing. It's because he fought a guy who hasn't fought a professional boxer in 5 years. How can you give somebody
I got
props
a
for that?
question, man.
That's not okay.
He hasn't fought a
I ain't even
boxer
get the.
5 years.
Go ahead.
Caller, go ahead.
I got a damn question. So, what would have made that fight better besides Mayweather not clinching? Tell me that.
Them
They would have
fighting.
fought 5 years ago before that. Before the
Yeah, if
fight.
they fought 5 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been a better fight.
It wouldn't make a
Listen,
difference, bro.
caller.
Come on, that
Mayweather
ain't no real.
outclassed
That ain't no
Pacquiao
real
any day.
answer.
What you
What
mean at the
what
end?
could they do in the ring that would have made that fight a better fight? Please answer my question.
Pacquiao being more athletic.
All right,
Pacquiao being more
being
athletic, he get knocked the fuck out by Marquez.
clean
5
shots
years
being
before that.
landed. The fucking referee not trying to control
Hey,
distance,
hold
not
on, let me
trying
ask
to
you a question.
fucking.
Do you
It was
even know?
long.
You said
Caller,
about
but I want to ask that
5 years
caller
ago.
something.
Hold
What
on,
did
you
you
said
think
5 years
against
ago.
his performance
Damn,
back in
can I
2001?
get
Jimmy
my
asked his
my question answered first?
We answered your question. You don't like the
You just
answer.
I'm
answered
trying
it,
to
bro.
answer
I
your
mean,
question by asking you
I can't
this:
hear
what's
5
the great
people answering
outcome?
at the same damn time.
Was that
all right.
Mayweather at his best was against Castillo? I'm
Corrales.
saying Corrales. Thank you again, bro. Yeah, against Corrales. That was an awesome outcome. Did you see that fight with Mayweather? If you haven't, fucking look it up on YouTube. That
Oh,
outcome.
how about
I
when
don't know if
Mayweather beat the shit out of Zab Judah?
So you saying
How about
Floyd
when
needed
Mayweather
to
beat the
fight
crap
exactly,
out
like
of
but
he
Zab?
did
if he
versus
fought
Corrales
anybody,
for the
if
fight to be
Mayweather that
good?
night fought anybody, he would have did that. That would have been the outcome because he was so in
Answer my
tune.
question. So
All
Floyd
right.
needed to fight different for the fight to be good. Is that what you're saying?
Pacquiao as well.
How many different
Jesus,
times do we have to say, bro? Listen, if you
both.
want to hear us say it, okay, we hate black people. Next caller, please. Fuck
Yeah,
out
that's
of
what
here.
I
We're
think
not
he
Yeah,
gonna
wants
this
to
go
do
there.
that.
We're
is
not
easy.
saying
Jesus
that,
Christ.
bro. Oh,
How many
listen,
different ways do we have to
let's
say
not
they both
go there.
suck?
Let's
They
not go
both
there.
were an
Both,
embarrassment.
both.
But
Hold on,
you
hold on,
just
hold
want to
on. Let's
hear a
not go there. All
narrative.
I'm saying
Oh,
is
put it
this.
on Mayweather.
Hold
Go
on.
fucking hang with
Hey
the
guys,
LBBC,
guys,
brah.
this is what I'm saying.
Go eat some Skittles
Everybody
and
wanted
calm
that
Fuck.
down.
fight to have.
All right, hold on. Everybody calm down. Caller. We said both,
I'm just trying to figure out
and
what Manny and Floyd could have done different to entertain y'all, because
They
I
could
didn't
have
see
fought
I
5
didn't see
years
they
much
could have
before the
fought.
fight
wrong with the
they
fight
had.
besides.
Besides
They
what?
could have had that
Can I
fight in
answer to that
2010.
though? Can I answer to that? Can I answer that 5 years thing?
Try it.
Yes, go ahead.
Try it.
Okay, so you might seem to forget how Mayweather, even then, 5 years ago, prior, you know what I'm saying, to the fight, he was still a beast. He's still a problem. He
I
still
don't
wants to have
care
a
if that's
victim
what
of
it
his
made
Right.
him
opponent.
All right,
better.
that's
This
it.
is listen.
Your
If
time is
all
up.
you're gonna bring is your
Hold on,
opinion, how about
he was
bringing
younger,
facts, bro? Bring
and
something
listen,
factual to the table. You have
Y'all
an
mad as
opinion. We
fuck,
all
boy.
do.
Caller, go
I want to
ahead.
have facts.
Hi, Jimmy. Hold on. Caller, go
it
ahead.
wouldn't make a difference, bro.
Caller, go ahead.
I think y'all just mad because Manny Pacquiao got outclassed. Y'all rather see Floyd Mayweather sit there
Shh. Hold on.
with his hands
Let him
with his
finish.
hands in the
Let him
eye
finish.
No,
guard and
that's
get
Let
hit
him
you're
with
finish.
right,
Let
it.
him
That
caller.
finish.
would have
That's what
been
it
more
was. You got it.
Let
You're
him
entertaining,
right. That's
finish.
why
y'all.
I put
Because I seen them
$500 down on
actually play.
Mayweather to
I
win
seen
because I
high level
wanted to lose that
defense. I
money.
seen Manny
Yeah.
Pacquiao throwing a lot of punches but struggling to land them. That's all I seen. I mean, you
Getting
Okay.
countered.
can't make the
Let's not
fight
forget
any
that.
different.
All right, hold on. Let him finish. Okay. Is that all you want to say, caller?
Damn, I can't even finish, man. I'm gonna get the fuck off of here, man. Y'all mad as fuck. I ain't about to talk to these motherfuckers all that female energy. Y'all
All
stay
right.
mad.
You made your point. Hang up
Floyd
now.
50-0. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, he
All right,
got
guys,
us. You know what I'm saying? He
Can I
got
say
us.
You
something?
got us.
Shh.
You got us.
Guys, calm down. Everybody can just jump in. Let him finish. Then you can reply. Like,
Okay.
let him. I know he's talking bullshit, but let him finish. So he says that. Listen, this is the thing. Somebody has echo. Who the fuck has?
It's
G
wicked bad, dude.
Boogie, G
That's why I
Boogie,
keep
you have
talking
echo.
over people. I'm sorry.
Oh, can we talk about currently
No,
going towards
hold
the
on.
future?
No, later. Hold on. So the caller was saying that we were basically just blaming Floyd, but then we said no. Both of them could have done much more to make the fight exciting. Then he didn't like the answer, and he started saying after that, well, I think you guys just don't like the fact that Floyd dominated the fight.
Which I didn't
So
see. Right.
Thank you, brother. That's
Hey,
pretty
exactly
much it.
what.
can I say something before? Look, I think this is what the caller is trying to insinuate that if the decision would have went the other way, that we would have been happier and we would have not
Complain.
Now, look, let me finish this point. There's some truth to that. There would have been certain fans that would have been happy with Pacquiao getting the decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, they're
as a
called Mayweather
boxing fan,
fans.
yeah, but
Right?
listen to it. Yeah, exactly. But this is my point. Boxing, I'm a boxing fan first. Look, I loved Roy
Exactly.
Jones growing up. Roy Jones was one of my favorite fighters. I hated that he got knocked out by Tarver in the second round, but that was a gangster moment. I'm not going to deny that. Okay. I've seen Mayweather fight front foot dominant. DSFG doesn't know the two. What he did to Zab Judah, what he did
Bro, I know both,
switching.
bro. I know
What
both.
DSFG?
I know
Let
both.
me finish. Let me finish. This is how it fucking works. You let me finish, and then you talk.
Okay, don't
Okay?
insert nothing though.
All right, calm down. All right. So front foot dominant was it definitely displayed in the Zab Judah fight. In the Pacquiao, not the Pacquiao, the Cotto fight. What else? When he fought Diego Corrales, when he was switching it back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so I've seen Mayweather in excellent performance. To me, that wasn't an excellent performance. The reason why is because Mayweather and Pacquiao were past it. They were past their better days. So the only thing I'm saying is I don't care about the results. I'm talking about when the fight could have been better 5 years before it happened.
Oh,
That's what
can
I'm
I
saying.
ask you something? Can I ask you something?
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm trying to move from this, but was Pacquiao ever on the back foot during that Mayweather fight?
Well, you broke up when you said that, DFG. What?
Was Pacquiao ever on his back foot in that Mayweather fight?
Once or twice. That I remember. I saw him like once off the back foot.
What happened in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th round in that Mayweather fight with Pacquiao?
Dude, it was so boring. I don't remember. Like it was just Mayweather.
I remember that fight
Mayweather
like it was
controlling
yesterday,
range,
bro.
trying to control his range, trying to
That's
stay out
how
of trying to stay out of
outclassed
Pacquiao's
y'all
range.
in all styles and all directions, bro. What did you get? What you say? You know what one victory means? Bro. He went
breaking
to
up.
Pacquiao,
He's breaking
walked
up
in
bad.
Pacquiao,
DFG,
and
you're
he
breaking up
danced
bad.
You're
around
breaking
Pacquiao.
up.
He's clearly show you
DFG,
the
you're breaking
difference
up. I can't
between
hear you.
levels, bro. That's what he said. That's what Mayweather quoted, and that's what he actually did in the ring. So if it was boring to you, then oh well. But it was an epic fight.
It was an
Pacquiao
epic.
tried his hardest,
Okay, I respect your
and
opinion. If
that
that's your
was
opinion,
that.
DFG,
Yeah, but
if you thought it
All
was a
right.
great fight, I
Go recap,
respect
man. Go
your
recap,
opinion.
bro.
I
Cause
didn't
all
I
right.
didn't think it was a
go
great
recap,
fight.
bro.
That's my opinion. I didn't think it was a great fight.
Okay, so the backlash of the
And
fight don't make no sense to me because I don't know what the casual was saying, and it did numbers. I understand 5 years ago it won't
Yeah, but
matter.
then Floyd
I
It
Burton
don't
think
didn't
they're
do the
matter.
conflating
numbers.
numbers for what actually happened in the ring.
What
But
would have
that's
been different if that fight would have happened at that moment? You know what Mayweather's stance was at, and how savage mode Mayweather was at that time too. Come on,
man,
man.
I think this dude cares about like we're trying
Pacquiao,
to
hold
make an
on. Pacquiao
argument
did the
about the
same thing
results.
he did in
listen,
that fight 5 years prior.
okay, it's established,
DSFG,
dude. Listen, you're a fucking Mayweather fan. You think he's the
yeah,
greatest thing ever.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
established. Can we
most
move
people
on from
listen.
that now, dude?
DSFG.
No,
You're not going to convince
listen.
us
I
into
like
things that aren't
Pacquiao. What
true.
you mean?
Thank you,
Hold on.
Jimmy.
That fight was objectively
I like
horrible. That was a
Pacquiao. I like
horrible fight. And
Mayweather.
I've been around fucking
All right.
boxing
I
longer
like
than
both
breaths you
fighters, but
breathe.
All right.
clearly
DSFG.
Mayweather said outclass.
Hold on. DSFG. Hold on. This is the thing. All right. You think it was a great fight? That's fine. That's your opinion. Most people thought the fight was garbage. All right. Casual fans, I know they're casuals, but we need, if we want to grow the sport, we need to convince casual boxing fans that this is
They need
an exciting sport. This fight didn't help
they need to go
the
to the
sport of
eye
boxing.
doctors and get their vision checked again and recap the fight and realize how far advanced decades Mayweather is to a Pacquiao.
All
Any
right.
day,
All right.
any
All right.
year.
Why is this
Don't
kid on
matter.
this fucking show,
I
dude?
don't know. It's
Seriously.
getting annoying now. All
Can we
right.
talk? I was trying to talk about the future, if possible.
Hold on.
Quarantine.
DSFG. Hold
After
on.
the quarantine happens, like what would be a bigger fight to
DSFG.
you guys?
All right. Hold on. We're
I
gonna.
already told you. I think we told
Late
you.
What would be a bigger fight? Are you kidding me? Teofimo Lopez against Lomachenko, Crawford
Crawford
against
versus
Spence.
Spence. Yeah, I mean, there's
Guys
so
who are
many.
relevant. Why do I want to see? Why do I care what some
Jesus.
40 fucking 2-year-old dude who has the tax man at his heels, who's already had to give up his planes, half his cars, his properties. Now he's got lawyer fucking bill for his daughter. So right now,
Okay,
like I've been
can I ask you
told,
something?
he
Can I
has to
ask you
come back
something?
and fight. So he's coming back
Okay,
not for legacy.
okay. I
He's
hear
coming
you. Can I
back
ask
for
you
his
something?
fucking payday.
Can I ask you something?
Quickly.
Okay. I mean, quickly though. I got a time frame. I'm trying to get
Yeah,
to.
because
Okay.
we have a phone call.
I'm about to drop off, but I'm gonna leave off with this.
Okay.
Okay. So when they tweet at Mayweather, the Pacquiaos, the Keith Thurmans, the ABs, and so forth, don't at Mayweather then. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all say y'all want Mayweather to fight the welterweights like how Pacquiao is currently doing, right? So listen, if Mayweather comes back and get a fight with Pacquiao part 2, that would be bigger and it would save boxing and Mayweather make a grand
No,
entrance.
because
And hold
I
on,
don't think so.
and they will acquire a belt involved, which means if Mayweather gets that belt from Pacquiao, what welterweight will be next up in line to face Mayweather? That y'all so-called
But
want Mayweather
Mayweather
to
won't
fight.
fight
All
him.
right. Thank you for
Mayweather's
joining
gonna
us,
want to defend
CSG.
him more.
Thanks for
Come
joining
on,
us,
man.
man. All right.
Y'all saying the same thing about Bud Spence fighting Pacquiao.
All right.
So what's
We'll
the
answer your
difference?
question. All right.
All right, go
Here's
ahead.
it. All right. Floyd isn't going to fight Pacquiao. All right. Yeah, they're both older, but Pacquiao's
You don't
looking
know
better
that.
right
You don't
now.
know that. You don't know that.
All right.
He's giving you his opinion, man. You
It's my
gotta
opinion,
calm
man. I don't know if
down.
it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to
Okay,
happen.
okay.
He's gonna fight Broner. Without a
He's gonna fight
doubt. Fight
Broner. That's who
Broner,
he's gonna
That
or he's
fight.
going to
makes
fight
sense.
Yeah.
somebody lesser than him.
Hold on.
He's
Yeah.
not going
First
to
of
put
all, when it
himself
came
in
to the
any
AB
fucking risk of
situation,
losing.
even Mayweather
All right.
cut me
Listen.
off. Okay.
DSFG, thank you for joining us. All right. We're
Okay,
going
I
to take some
appreciate
phone
it,
call.
BDA, but let it sink in, bro, and
All
recap the
right. And
fight.
it's
All right,
Bucho. It's
DSG, man.
Bucho, not
He's a good
BDA.
sport. He's a good sport. I agree on that. He's a good
Yeah.
sport, but other than that, he
It's
doesn't.
like after a few minutes, it's all right.
Yeah.
337. You're on the air. 337. You're on the air.
Yo, what's up, family? It's Dead Game Boxing. Y'all can hear me
Dead
pretty
game.
good.
Dead
What's up?
game. What up, Dead game?
EG, what up,
Will we
kid?
talk? Oh man, it's all good, man. Just wanted to chime in. We'll be talking about a little Mayweather return.
Mayweather. What the impact of Mayweather Pacquiao after it happened? Do you think it brought more fans to boxing, or you think it discouraged casual fans from checking out boxing or following it?
Mayweather going to bring people to boxing, man. Pacquiao's going to bring people to boxing. So, I mean, it maybe could have did a little more earlier, but I mean, I think that fight was a great epic fight, man, in boxing history. So, that's a great fight, man. That was a great fight. Mayweather was very skilled. Pacquiao was strong. It was a good fight.
All right, you thought the fight itself, you liked the fight itself, right?
Well, if you watch Mayweather, a lot of people don't like Mayweather because his defensive tactics and his skill. He made Pacquiao miss a lot. You know, he showed very good skill. You know, so yeah, I think it was a great fight. You know, I enjoyed it.
A great like.
I enjoyed it a lot, and I.
Would you watch it again?
That?
Would you watch it again? It's one of those fights that you would sit down and watch it and have some fun.
Like the replay?
Like the whole fight, would you sit down and watch all 12 rounds again?
I have.
Oh God.
I have. You know, just kind of analyze. I'm not trying to look at the footwork and see what's going on. It was a great fight, though. Actually,
there was some subtle details about that fight that you could appreciate as a boxing
Yeah, but
fan.
you'd
I
have to
would
be a
agree with that.
serious fucking hardcore fan.
Yeah,
Again,
if you
like,
wanna
that I would
you look at but like
yeah.
Paul, like the kid on the panel wouldn't accept like facts, like the fact that 22,000 people involved in a class action lawsuit out of New Jersey. A lawyer started it, and 22,000 people signed up, and they were suing Showtime and Mayweather Promotions and everybody to get their money back. They wanted plus damages because
When
they
does
said
that
the fight
happen?
was a fraud. It was fixed. That's how upset people were. Where I live in Boston, listen, they never speak of boxing anymore. Up to that fight, going up to that fight, that's all they were talking about. They even flew. The #1 sports show flew out there. They came back the whole week. They came back from that fight. All they did was shit talking.
Hey, but
So fucking bad. It was
Jimmy,
insane.
hold on. That
Yeah.
game. Hold on. Well, just one thing, Jimmy. If the thing is, if Pacquiao would have won in a boring fight, nobody would have been complaining. That's the thing, though.
That's not, it's not true, dude. It was a horrible, objectively horrible fight. And again, I will rail on to the fucking gods about that 2001 Mayweather performance. That was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Corrales, I think so
Corrales
too.
against
When I
Corrales.
when
One of
I
the
when I
that
see
was
that fight, that is the definition of the sweet science. Like
unbelievable,
that
man.
was
You
just
couldn't.
that dude would fuck up anybody at 130. Definitely at 130. Like he beats all those guys that ever fought there.
Dude, he had
That
his
guy right
time.
there, that guy probably wins against everybody.
All right, that game. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. The only thing I would like to add is I would like to see a Pacquiao Mayweather 2.
Oh God.
In a certain circumstances, if Pacquiao, I would like to see Mayweather grab a belt, or even if he don't grab a belt, I would like to see an undisputed fight with Mayweather. Whoever become undisputed, get that fight with Mayweather.
Here's the problem with
I
that.
don't think Mayweather was.
Game.
I don't think Mayweather was ever undisputed. Like with
That
all
game. Here's
the
the problem. Here's the problem with that. Terrence Crawford has something to say about that. Earl Spence has something to say about that. Sean Porter got something to say about that. Danny Garcia got something to say about that. These guys are not just going to stand around and let them collect belts. These are guys that will more likely give them problems. Okay, and a few of those guys I would pick to beat. I take Earl Spence to beat the shit out of. Let me chill with that. He had a car accident, but the Earl Spence that fought Sean Porter, okay, before the accident, yeah, I take him to fucking overwhelm Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and beat both of those dudes. So, Terrence Crawford probably does the same thing.
I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I think Manny Pacquiao. I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. That's who I roll with. But I think Manny Pacquiao could actually beat all of them.
He probably could have because he's still active.
You're gonna think I'm crazy. I think Keith Thurman could beat all of them. And I think they all can. Keith Thurman, Spence, Pacquiao, and Bud Crawford to me is on the close level. I think Pacquiao is a little step ahead of all of them. And if Pacquiao would become undisputed, that fight with Floyd would be stupid, bro.
I agree. It would be weird too to see older guys dominate like that.
It's just they're gonna fall off the wall too eventually.
It would show you how strong. It would show you how strong.
Jimmy, can you imagine that?
With Floyd in that era.
Jimmy, can you imagine that 40-year-olds beating up pretty good boxers like Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter?
I think Terrence Crawford, southpaw, would give Floyd too much because Floyd in his prime. Again, though, it's hard for me because Floyd, to me, in his prime is 130 pounds. He's not this fucking catch weight, bloated 154-pound guy beating up an MMA fighter or Berto.
Look, I think Floyd in his prime would have. I think Floyd in his prime, Jimmy, beats all these guys that
prime
are
130 pack and prime 130 Mayweather. Now that would have been a war.
That would have been a war.
At 130, when they were both prime at 130, that would have been one hell of a fight. Catching this shit 20 years past its due date is just bogus, and it's a money grab. You want to do it, throw it on fucking, or charge it correctly. Then they'd put it up for $99. But again, that's not going to happen. Listen, he's going to fight Broner. It's not a question of if he's going to fight again. He has to. He has to.
Why?
I mean, you can't live that lifestyle and not have money coming in.
That game. If Broner was to fight Floyd Mayweather next, how do you see that fight playing out?
I would see a lot of. I would see something I probably wouldn't want to see in a lot of shit talking outside the ring. But once they get in the ring, I think Floyd would brutally hurt this guy, man, Adrian Broner.
Even at
would beat him
40
brutally.
something years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think Floyd would sit in the pocket a little more. He would still be defensive. You see, my thing about it is, bro, Floyd is one of my favorite fighters, and I never. And this might sound crazy to some people, but I never really wanted my favorite fighter to go with an O on his record. I wanted him to take a loss. I wanted him to fight through the loss, and just keep going, bro. I mean, he's great, but I think there was some fights I would have liked to see him fight. But man, Floyd at 40, at 43, 44, I think right now I don't think a 147 fighter can beat him, bro. I really don't.
Based
That's
on
a lot
what?
of praise,
Even at
but
that age,
you might.
I mean, you got to think. And Floyd is a very clean guy. When I say clean, I
This
mean
is true.
well.
This is true.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke. I think with these guys, these young guys, I think Floyd might be in better shape right now than most of these young guys. Especially
That game.
coming off
When
this
was the
long
last?
break with this Corona stuff. Corona stuff, he can catch one of those young cats slipping real easy right now.
That game.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
When was the last time
But-
you saw Mayweather fight professionally?
Berto.
Yeah. That was a
Now,
long
based
time
on
ago.
that
was a lot of
fight,
years ago. He hasn't had a real training camp in years.
yeah,
In no
like
other sport. I'm sorry, Bucho.
no, go ahead. Go.
No, I was going to say no other sport will affect your timing, and that's what his game's all about. Is timing people. You know what I mean? His timing's not going to be there. His lungs not going to be there. His legs aren't going to be there. I know he didn't train against the MMA kid, but he looked sloppy as fuck. But he was fighting a kid who never fucking boxed before. So, but to come back, put it this way, normally if he was training even somewhat, he would destroy. But Broner's he's past his prime too.
Let him take his loss, man. If he take a loss and then, hey, bro, there's nothing wrong with it. He had the 50-0. I mean, what kind of glory is that, man? I mean, it's nobody. I mean, look at who he beat for the 50. Let him take a loss and come back. I want to see him fight. I really want to see him fight, technically, bro, really.
It's kind of funny, too, with that, right? Now, how many professional fighters have gone 50-0? Countless fighters, right? Countless fighters who actually have become unified champions. It was just always odd to me that they would always frame it as he's beating Rocky Marciano's record. He's not even a heavyweight. 2 different divisions. Like, why go after him? It was just always my thing. And I'm not a Rocky Marciano fan. I didn't like the stories I heard about him being from the same area.
Oh, that's right. He's
to
from
be honest,
Europe.
just not. Yeah, right down the road, bro. He's just not. It wasn't a very nice man. Did a lot of mean shit when he was. But again, I have a different thought on those type of people there. Sociopaths. But anyways, so it's not like I'm sticking up for him, but it's just always odd that was the guy they had to say he's beating. And come on.
That game. Anything else?
It's all propaganda.
That's it, family, man. Look, y'all have a good one, bro. Y'all keep your hands washed.
All right.
Take it easy.
Thank you for calling in. All right, we have Unrivaled. Are you there?
Oh shit! What's up, Unrivaled?
Yeah, sorry. What's up, guys? How's it going?
What's up? What's on your mind?
What's up,
man? Mayweather Pacquiao was crap for boxing. Like it was. Like I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, yeah, here goes another white guy because Pac lost." Bro, I want money on Mayweather. But the fact of the matter is,
is Pacquiao white?
Maybe, huh?
Is Pacquiao white or what?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care what color he is.
But I understand. We understand.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's how Mayweather fans right across the board almost put it.
Yeah, well, it's weird. Go ahead.
They think because like, oh, I'm white, I'm gonna want Mayweather to lose. That's racism.
It is an assumption.
That itself is literally racist.
That's like
because you think because of the color of my skin, I think a certain. I thought Mayweather would win. I bet money on him, and I made money on him. But the fact of the matter is, the marination process, the 5 years. Now the other people following the Mayweather blueprint and marinating out on fights, and we're not getting the fights we've seen. It's bad for boxing.
And we're
Terrible.
seeing it now that it's blowing up in people's face, right? Like we're seeing examples. We saw it.
Look what it did
Wilder,
to so many
Joshua
careers.
get blown out.
Look at Wilder Joshua. Look at Kovalev Stevenson. Look what just happened recently. Amir Khan and Kell Brook in the UK. They tried to be the Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao of the UK. That shit doesn't even matter now. You put that fight on, it's gone down by 400,000 pay-per-view boys in the UK.
Shit.
It really has. It'd be lucky to break 300K in the UK now. Nobody cares about Kell Brook and Amir Khan. This shit
5
happens
years
all the
ago,
time. And
would've
these
done
are
a
all
million.
fights that we want to see. We want to see these as boxing fans. Now, the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, it was honestly quite boring. I'm sorry, but if you only land 220 punches in the biggest grossing fight in the history of the sport, you're kind of letting our sport down. That was the total amount of punches landed, was 220.
Right, according to the official.
According to, not official, according to CompuBox, I'll go with it because
CompuBox,
it's as close to a number as we're going to get. I'm not going to sit down and watch that fight 72 times to try and get a realistic number. It was between 200 and 240 punches.
Right, so it was a boring
that's roughly
fight.
about a punch landed every 9 seconds in a fight, maybe 10 seconds. It's boring. It was dull. It wasn't entertaining. The thing about fights like that is you have a large casual audience who are paying in, who don't normally watch. And the people who you say are casuals because they thought the fight are boring, yeah, you're right. A lot of casuals thought it was boring. And since then, we've seen massive dips in pay-per-view numbers. Monstrous dips. We've seen a loss in the casual fan audience because they're like, these are the two biggest guys in this. Yo, I'm going to go over to MMA and see blood because that's piss poor. That was the biggest chance we had, and it was annoying and boring. It was crap.
Brother, you actually could track the numbers. Right after that fight, MMA pay-per-views spiked. That's when it was at their height. Remember Rousey and all that shit? They've never done the numbers they did then. They might do them now if, like, you know, they have super big fights, but you could see across the board. Listen, boxing took it in the chin, big time. That fight was fucking horrible for the sport.
You got to remember, a lot of casuals went in there watching that to watch that fight, and most of the casuals, most of them, very few that said this was a great fight. Okay, it doesn't matter what your perspective is as a, you know, quote unquote hardcore boxing fan. All right, so you could look at a situation and see the technique in it. They're looking at it from a action-packed fight.
They wanted blood. They wanted to see fight. You know, we
didn't gain new fans. We didn't gain new fans from Pacquiao.
No.
If Floyd was front foot
dominant,
we lost.
There's a lot of fans out there though. If you ask them, hey, like younger generation fans in around my age bracket, hey, what fight got you into boxing? Do you know what comes up? Gary Ward does.
Yeah.
Castillo Corrales does.
Reddick Ball, Vander Holyfield.
Yes. They come up, you ask a lot of guys in the 90s. I got into boxing because of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Because he came in like a steamroller and he was vicious. Not because he was dancing around like some fucking ballerina playing the Black Swan.
Brother, listen, to go to your... Oh, I was going to say to your point, right? I forget what year it was. I think it might have been 2013. It might have been 13 or 14. But anyways, I went up to the Hall of Fame. Mickey was already up there. But just to say, when they announced it was two people, that literally was a standing ovation. It was Mike Tyson. It was when they have all the champions up on stage, champion weekend or whatever, they'll announce the champs were there. By far, I'm talking Holyfield was there, all kinds of fucking Hall of Famers. By far, it was like people were like, "Whoa!" It was crazy how the crowd went berserk when they announced Mickey. It was only him and Tyson got by far the loudest. Even in Fenway, when he throws out the first ball, first pitch, he does it, at least once a year. Man, the crowd goes berserk. Yeah. But he'll always be remembered because this is the dude who fucking didn't make much money, working full time, and took some years off his life. Because I'll tell you guys right now, he's not. I don't want to say not doing well, but he's definitely feeling the effects. I didn't see him for a while, and I just saw him not too recently, right before the shutdown, and it bothered me a little. Just his speech pattern a couple of times. But
look,
anyway,
he gave his life to boxing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. And let's put everything like this into perspective, yeah? If you want to get somebody interested in this sport, right? Let's say you're like, yo, what's boxing like? What fight should I watch? What do you show them? Do you show them Guillermo Rigondeaux? Do you show them Floyd? Or do you tend to show them inside fighting? People punching each other in the head. Do you show them Mickey Ward? Do you show them Gatti? Do you show them Corrales? Do you show... Like, I mean, a fight that got me mad interested into boxing was Bobby Chacon versus Rafael Lemon 4. It's still to this day my favorite fight. That was a war. It was a war. I wasn't being shown fucking crap ass fights of like I wasn't being shown a bore fest of Emil Griffith when I was a kid, but I was being shown fucking Roberto Duran fights. I was being shown Barkley fights. I was being shown Terry Norris fights, wars. Guys who would go in there and go hell for leather. That's what I was.
Hagler Hearns, right? That was a great fight.
Exactly. That was one of the first. That was the fourth fight I ever watched in my life as a kid on tape. It was Hagler Hearns.
Can I say something?
The reason why is they want me to be interested. Go ahead, Bujo.
No, quickly, because and this is something Recognize said, and the Brotherhood in the chat saying that he liked the fight, the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. Listen, that's fine. The SFG also liked the fight. That's his opinion. We have our opinion. We didn't like the fight, and we also mentioned that a lot of people didn't like the fight. Now, that doesn't mean that we're right and you're wrong. It's just an opinion, all right? But it's a fact that most people did not like the fight, all right? That's it.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm mistaken on this, but from what I heard a rumor, like the guys in America can say if they know more on this than me, but I heard a rumor that after that fight took place, there was a record number of call-ins for a refund on a paper.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Jimmy said. Jimmy said that.
Yeah.
If you think that's good for our sport, if you think that's good for our sport, it's crazy.
No, Jimmy, go ahead.
Let Jimmy go. 22,000 people. There was a class action suit. A lawyer represented him. 22,000 people sued Showtime. It just recently got thrown out of court. They finally got tossed out.
Showtime for shit.
Dude, they were suing Showtime for a fraudulent event. They said it was fixed. They bought it because it falls under, the lawyer went under, it was entertainment value. They were buying entertainment television, that was, you know what I mean, what it was under, right? So because of that and the fact that it was zero entertaining, it wasn't entertaining at all. And listen, if somebody says, okay, that's our opinion, I'll tell you what, go to Google, punch in any city in the country, go Mayweather, Pacquiao response, and put in that whatever city, and you'll get their local TV station. I guarantee you'll be up for 3 days before you finally find a newscaster who did this shit talking. I'm dead serious. You go to anything. You find one fucking newscaster who didn't say, yeah, that was not good for the sport. Not only were people saying it was a bad, boring fight, people who were in and around the sport were saying, that did not do the sport good. And at the same time, you had it was just a clash of bullshit because that was right after PBC was launched. And he was paying people over the fucking 18%. And he bought up all the TV rights, all the TV slots. He bought them all up. He didn't care what he was putting on because, again, he was trying to take over the sport. He was trying to put everybody else out of business. And he wanted to make the UFC style. And he wanted to control
And what they're
it all.
trying to equate is that we're upset because we didn't get the result. Dude, I look, I can't speak for everybody. Maybe there's some people that are like that. I would agree. But me personally, one of the greatest moments in boxing history was James Buster Douglas beating the shit out of Mike Tyson. I loved Mike Tyson. I was heartbroken when I saw that. Okay? The other one, Roy Jones getting chin checked in the second round against Tarver after Tarver told him, "You have any excuses tonight, Roy?"
Yep.
Okay? I loved Roy Jones, but that was a gangster moment. Like I can't disrespect that.
It doesn't suck how you feel.
If Floyd would have beat the shit out of Manny Pacquiao, I'm talking about beat the shit out of him. Stood front foot dominant like DFG imagined, right? And switched it back and forth and just controlled everything. I would say, I don't like Floyd, but he beat the shit out of him.
I need to.
I will have no problem saying that.
Yeah. Font fruit. All right, hold on. 8585. You're on the air. 585. No, wait. Damn it. Vinny.
How you doing, Mr. Boutro? This is Vince.
What's up, Vince? What's on your mind?
Go to sleep.
Yes. I cannot believe you guys are still talking about this. This isn't 2015.
Fuck off.
It's a 5th year anniversary.
Mayweather absolutely. School was in session for Manny Pacquiao, Mr. Boutro.
All right. So, do you think this fight was good or bad for boxing?
Mr. Boutro, that's
90 seconds.
To say that.
Yeah,
of course,
get off the phone.
Mayweather steps in the ring, if it's a professional fighter or not. It's an attraction. It's big for boxing, and of course,
That wasn't his question, brother. Was it good for the sport?
Was it good for the sport? Vinny, was
Vinny,
it good
was
for
it
the
good
sport?
for the sport?
Yes, it was. Mr. Recognized. It was
In what
definitely good for
capacity?
the sport. Anytime you have Mayweather,
60
it's always
seconds.
Go ahead.
Your speech is about to get cut off.
But my point, because Bucho asked him a direct question. How was it good for the sport? In what way?
He's saying, all right, Vinny, you're gonna answer the question. How was it good
Yeah,
for
stop
the
trying to
sport?
spin this.
Yes, it was very good for the sport because we finally got to see the two biggest stars in our sport battle it out,
All right.
guys.
Vinny, that's
You
it,
saw
man.
what happened. Mr. Miyagi is Mayweather.
Okay. Bye, Vinny.
All right, Vinny,
All right,
listen.
Vinny, take
We're
care,
gonna
buddy.
restart the
Talk to you
phone
later.
lines. We gotta restart the phone lines. All right.
Yeah, it's not that we're kicking you off. We're
No,
actually gonna restart.
it's you heard the timer. Yeah.
10 seconds.
Yeah, fuck off. 10 seconds. Get off.
Hopefully, boxing starts back up because I would like to own Mr. Recognize on one of these matchups. Hopefully, we get something going, guys. I'm pretty bored
Yeah, I'd love to.
listening to you
I'd
guys.
love to demolish you.
No action on Saturday. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
And
Wait a second. Did he just challenge me? Did he just challenge me?
I think so.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
he
I
did.
just ignored
All right.
it.
Right.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this. I just want to say this. Did y'all hear the biggest flaw in everything he said?
Thank you
We
for
got to see
using
the
blog.
two biggest stars in our sport battle it out. The word battle.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
What
the
battle?
problem with this. There was no battle. What were you watching?
Thank you, Mark.
It
Yeah,
was
Mark,
dull.
It was a
It was
masterpiece.
dull.
They're trying to pretend that there's something that we didn't see, like
Did they?
DFSG, this third eye. You know, like
Did they even
bro,
have marks on their face in the press conference?
No,
Go watch
but it was
it.
a technical.
Oh God, no, dude! You kidding me? If I found somebody fucking molesting a family member, dude, I would tie him up in a basement and play that thing 24/7. It's torture. You kidding me? That's like that. They should put that in
Fucking
fucking. They
torture.
should make. Ah, dude, it's horrible. It was a horrible
Bruh,
fight.
that fight was
It wasn't a
literally
fight.
look. If you compared that to anything like categories like pornography or whatever, that was like softcore porn where only her titties are shown. That's
Yeah,
what
it
it
was
was.
44 and said 6 kids.
There were over here. There was people sitting outside watching the fight because there was like there wasn't any room at the bar, but you could actually see it from the outside through the window. People were actually setting up camp and sitting outside trying to, because everybody wanted to watch it because everybody was talking about
Of course, man.
And imagine these people who hadn't seen a boxing fight in like a long time, since Tyson or some shit.
Dude.
Then they watch this
Yeah,
crowd.
bro, I can.
Holy Christ! Go ahead.
You know how New York was. New York was okay. New York was so crowded. There was so much traffic. It was like, and I'm not bullshitting you. If anybody's ever been to New York, probably Jimmy probably knows something about this because he's from Boston. So the Yankees play Boston a lot. It's like a playoff game, a Yankee playoff game where it's October and the traffic. You know that you're gonna run into traffic. That's how Pacquiao Mayweather was. This is a boxing event. I want you to keep this in mind. A boxing event that's not even being taken place in New York. It's a boxing event that's in Vegas, and New York was that crowded that day. That night, that's how crowded New York was. The traffic was bumper to bumper.
Wow.
Dude, HBO did a fucking remember HBO Sports? They did one of those polls on YouTube. It was, were you satisfied, or was that Mayweather Pacquiao? Do you consider that an entertaining prize fight or something? They phrased it something like that. Dude, like 90,000 people fucking chipped in, and literally 10% said yes. Do you realize how when you try to sit there and say it's complete historic revisionism, that's all you're doing. You're trying to say that's a good fight. It's like it's like you might as well come on this podcast and try to convince us the fucking sun is cold. You know what I mean? It's just stupid.
Yep. All right, guys, we have a phone call. 901, you're on the air. 901. 901. Oh shit! Sorry, you're muted. All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me now? I
Yes.
appreciate you. This is Elon Mooney. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, a construction worker. I just left the job. Caught you guys' discussion. Man, Pacquiao Mayweather
Hey,
is
Ceylon.
terrible for boxing. Terrible for us. I went to one of. I didn't have cable or none of that stuff for a long time, and it was impossible for me to watch fights because they were broadcast on pay cable and pay-per-view. Pacquiao Mayweather was broadcast at a bar. So I went to I found a Mexican restaurant years ago that pirated satellite, so I got to watch all the fights on that. But I went to a bar. Yeah, that was awesome. I went to a sports bar that was showing Pacquiao Mayweather. The place was packed. I was one of maybe 5 boxing fans out of a totally packed warehouse-style bar. These people hadn't seen a fight since Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson. And they were bored
That's
as
right.
hell, and they left baffled, baffled. I would say as much of a BS event it was, the exhibition with Mayweather and Conor McGregor was much better for boxing than a real fight like that.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So you say the sentiment of that crowd, people were just basically a murmur of this fight sucks?
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of baffled because they expected to see, everybody, they expected to see something. And, I expected to see exactly what we saw. And honestly, I was impressed because Mayweather made Pacquiao look just like Robert Guerrero or any other Mayweather opponent. It was impressive.
But he had, from what I was told, he had 70%.
Fighter of our generation. What's that?
It's called. Not that I'm sticking up for Pacquiao because again, I'm not I appreciate, but I'm not one of these Pacquiao nuts. But I was told he had around a 70% range. They do those things at the doctors. They give you the range test, and you do strength basically, and it's a legit one. Like you stand in there, and it's micro calibrated, so you can push up, and the machine will tell when you start any kind of you're stopping or whatever, and so you can't even control your brain, your body. It'll read your body, and it was at 70%. His right shoulder. That's how fucked up he was. The fight should have never went off.
That's too bad. That's too bad. But yeah, I think it was terrible for boxing. And to be fair, I liked it. I liked it fine. It didn't bug me. I liked the Lomachenko fight on the undercard. I liked the Leo Santa Cruz fight on the undercard. But to people who aren't hardcore boxing fans, they were baffled and dismayed and probably won't
confused.
I don't know. I guess they.
Yeah, confused.
Yeah, confused.
I remember somebody. I remember a girl saying, "Why are you guys saying that guy's winning? The guy that's running." They didn't even know their names, man. Like a girl sat down and talked. She said, "Why are they saying he's dominant? He's running." They're talking about Mayweather. That's what they said. The guy's running.
Well, people around here were talking about it was a fix. A lot of people thought it was just two guys were in there to make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, Mayweather hasn't knocked anybody out, right? I mean, no.
I never get into talk. I never get into talks of a fixed fight. But I'll say this, yeah. Neither guy performed very well. Like Floyd obviously performed better than Manny. That's why he won. Manny was poor. The fight was boring. It was dull. And look, Ceylon, how's it going by the way, man? This is Mark. I've got a question for you. Since then, as a boxing fan, how many times have you watched that fight back?
Oh, I haven't gone back to watch it. I watched. You know what? When people put out these slow motion videos of how Pacquiao really won the fight. I watched. I got halfway through one of those, and I said, I just can't do this. I can't do this. No, I haven't gone back to watch the fight. I rarely go back to watch fights, man. I'm honestly more excited about what's coming next and what's going to happen and what's happening now. There's only 5 or 6 fights I rewatch.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I guarantee you, they were fucking action-packed fights. That's the way it goes, man.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to see a boring chess match.
Hagler Hearns. Yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, I liked it. I liked the chess match. I thought it was Mayweather's fight, and I was impressed because he was in the ring with the best of our generation, was in the ring with the greatest of our generation, and the best one. Wow.
No, And I agree with you there too, caller. The best of this generation, with just the numbers and the people he fought and when he fought him actually matters. But then again, right? I mean, at the time they fought, it was a half a decade. He waited him out. I mean, after he got fucking stopped, Pacquiao, that was when the light bulb first went on for Floyd. Oh, okay, he's been chin checked, so we know he can be stopped. But then on top of that, now it's been what? The only person he stopped in the ring, right? Wasn't it the fucking was it
Marquez, yeah.
Rios or Martinez? Or the kid? No, the
Oh
kid
no,
from
you
South
mean
America.
who? Pacquiao. You mean who
Pacquiao?
Pacquiao
Yeah,
stopped? Yeah, Pacquiao's
in a
last person
decade
going into that fight that he fought Mayweather.
stopped.
The last person he had stopped was Cotto.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was 6
Yeah.
years to the date. Yeah.
I mean, really, I think the go ahead for the Mayweather fight was Pacquiao Marquez 3. The first thing I thought watching Pacquiao Marquez 3 was Mayweather can't lose. Mayweather can't lose, and then he sat on it they sat on it for a couple of more years. But I thought it was.
Do you mean Pacquiao Marquez 4?
I think he means 3.
No,
where
not
3
the KO.
was.
3, the fight where Pacquiao won, but the judges gave it. I mean, where Marquez won, but they robbed him.
Oh, okay.
Pacquiao Marquez 3 showed me that one, Marquez had his number, at least that fight, and it also showed me that Mayweather can't lose.
Look, Mayweather can't lose because you got to knock him out. Like, that's the way I see that. Like, Mayweather's going to win on reputation alone. I don't think he did much in that fight except not get hit or knocked out. So he was going to win the fight regardless. If you thought Pacquiao won, they would have still given it to Mayweather. That was in the bag. The fight was boring. It was just boring fight. That's all it was.
Once he went from Pretty Boy to fucking what was
Money
the next?
Mayweather.
Was it Money Mayweather? Once that became a thing, and then he was keeping the O was the big thing to him. He didn't come close to taking on anyone in there. What, since 2007?
And not only that, his performances were getting worse and worse. It was just he was winning fights on his reputation. He was winning fights for avoiding confrontation. I keep saying it, and people, you can argue with me all you want. That's what he won fights on. He avoided confrontation. He pop shot you. Okay, if you got too close, he held you. He was given credit for that, and he would win fights wide on the scorecard.
Listen, all kinds of things changed with Mayweather too. Like, you could have never had this same referee do all your fights before. That they never would have allowed that. The commission.
No, not back in the days.
No way, dude.
Oh yeah, bro. Like Floyd's fucking referees. Like Jesus, bro. Like that's.
It was becoming obvious what's happening there, right, Mark?
The fucking dude dude has gone. Oh my god, I've heard him about partying out in Vegas with Floyd and his boys, Kenny Bayless and shit.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, he's one of Floyd's entourage, for Christ's sakes.
I gotta disagree with my man about some of the about a couple of things. I think Floyd Cotto and Floyd Canelo were exceptional performances. I mean,
absolutely, I agree with you on that. He did really well in those fights. Look, you're never gonna get me to argue Mayweather's not a great fighter. Mayweather's a great fighter, okay? But he did take it once he understood that the fix was in for him to continue the money train of being undefeated. He started taking his performance. He started to take it for not granted because he's winning, right? He just didn't give you his best. When Floyd wants to switch it on and fight you, he's one of the best fighters to do it. There's no doubt.
Look, all right, recognize. Yeah. Go to the money angle too. Think about it. At where he fought at MGM Grand, right? They were so financially involved in him. They had wax statues of him. They had fucking the whole front of the place was all about Floyd Mayweather. He became a big Vegas business. And he knew that. Why do you think he was allowed to get caught with a fucking IV in his arm?
Exactly, man.
He got caught with a fucking IV in his arm the night before the fight. Any other fighter that fight would have been done.
An IV.
So listen, you see the fucking ejection sites, the HGH human growth hormone. You look at pictures of him all shredded up in the 1990s. You don't see all those little injection sites. Because again, you have to shoot it between your skin and your muscle, and what happens, it causes little cysts and it takes a long time to dis. So you can actually see them on his abs. So he's doing HGH. He was probably doing a fucking I don't know with the IV. I don't know the color of the liquid. He could have been doing anything from plasma doping. You know what I mean? All kinds of shit to give him an edge.
When Mayweather, like I said, man, and it's good for him because he's making money. Mayweather understood that the Vegas act was in his favor, right? Not that the fights itself fixed, meaning Mayweather, stay on your feet, pop shot, make sure you don't get hurt. You got the fight. What it was kind of like a wink wink deal, right? Because we're making a lot of money off of you fighting undefeated. This is how we're making our money, okay? Because people want to see you lose,
Right,
and
and
so
it's not like the judges had to cheat too much because look at his opposition, Guerrero,
yeah,
Berto. Are you kidding me? I mean, those fights were jokes. There was all kinds of top guys. Yeah, there's some pictures there like you're showing. Yeah. So
Hey,
he's
caller.
you look at his body too, right? His
I
shoulders, like that
I
picture you
enjoyed
set up,
the Guerrero press conference better than the fight, to be honest with you.
right?
yeah,
The
I did
father.
too.
Guerrero's pops is pretty entertaining.
Hey, caller, we
Guerrero
gotta move on. We got another phone call, all right? But thanks for calling in.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks for the call, brother.
Take care.
Yo, thanks for the call. Big Joe, before you go on to the next caller, I just want to say this, yo.
Okay.
Since Oscar De La Hoya, right? All of Mayweather's referees: Kenny Bayless, Joe Cortez, Tony Weeks. Kenny Bayless, Joe Cortez, Tony Weeks. Robert Board, Kenny Bayless, Tony Weeks. Kenny Bayless, Kenny Bayless, Kenny Bayless. Robert Board. He had
Jesus.
4 referees in a decade.
Wow.
They would never
Damn.
allow that. That in itself would have had people like other people fighting. And that goes to show you. Listen, when you fight him, you're such the B side. He's going to tell you what gloves you can wear. He's going to determine the thickness of the padding on the fucking mat, and it's going to be as
Bro,
thin
he
as
had
fucking
Robert
humanly
Board
possible.
referee the McGregor fight, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Let's take a phone call. 929. You're on the air. 929.
Oh, what's going on, fellas? What's going on? What's up?
What's up?
Who also?
Hey. So yeah, when they held the press conference like 2 months prior to the fight, I had a slight bleed, but it wasn't. I wasn't very thrilled about it because it took too long to make. A side, B side bullshit that I had to learn about of why this fight took so long. I mean, I'm just gonna quote True School Sports and shout out to him. He said on his community page of his YouTube channel that on this day 5 years ago, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao took your money, my money, and the whole world's money when they had a 36-minute tap dancing session at the MGM Grand. They created a whole generation of entitled fighters that night who believe in marination and not fighting the best available competition until they make generational wealth. Thank you, Floyd and Manny. Side note, I'm a huge fan of both of them, but fuck that fight. And I could have said any better myself.
Excellent.
Today's generation, they basically just take cues from that, rather than just try to build their resume to fight, credible opponents. And, it's really sad. I don't believe in this thing that this was a sport, that helped boxing. No, it fills the pockets of just one individual, a few individuals.
And caller, can I also point something out to you, caller? That there's one common denominator in that. It was Floyd's lawyer, Al Heyman. And if you look at all the fighters who are pulling that same, either marinating themselves out of stuff or not fighting at all, it's all coming from the PBC.
Yeah.
Think about it right now. If it wasn't for the quarantine, this month we would have had, and this was 100%, a Lomachenko Lopez for this past weekend. It would have been during Cinco de Mayo. And right now, there's still 3 years after he's fought top 10. I would say the PBC's under heavyweight most exciting fighter who has the most promise is, believe it or not, Davis. And look what they're doing to that kid's career. He could be fighting, big names and making big fights, but instead they talk about bringing up Leo Santa Cruz. That's a joke.
Yeah. I mean, that was like after this fight, the biggest name that Floyd Mayweather had to fight was a mixed martial artist. I think this fight created a generation of consumers who are cord cutters now. They don't want to watch the fights. They don't want to pay for it. They want to find the stream. That's all you hear. If they're interested, they would get try to hang out with people. They would go to a bar and watch a fight. Pay a cover charge, whatever. or they don't have to, whatever. But it's just insane how this money generated the money of like 12 developed nations, and to this day, it's like we're still wondering. It's like, why did it take so long? I mean, personally, for the rubes, yeah, the casual, they don't understand that there's a lot of levels to this shit, and that just watching two men who have conflicting, fighting styles in the ring, not really doing much for 12 rounds, is really going to turn people off. And I think that's the reason why it's a lot difficult to make Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. It's like, I don't think the casuals at large don't give a fuck about, technical brilliance. They want to see violence. That's a byproduct of society. They're not here to watch a dance. They want to watch combat. And that's where UFC stepped in, and chipped away at their boxing fan base for the last 20 years.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's
It's like in a street fight, right? You see two guys that just grabbing each other, they're breathing hard. You probably just walk away from that fight. Now, two dudes dropping bombs on each other, you're gonna stop and watch it. Okay, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, I want to see this." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I sorry to cut you off, but like, what was it like? It's the thing with ever since the De La Hoya fight, it's like, what is the thrill of just watching these fights when you know who's gonna win? And to me, that's just a bummer, for the consumer. It's like, why pay for this shit? I'd rather just take a risk, giving my computer a virus, trying to look for a fight, trying to find the fight, for free.
Mm-hmm. Good point, man. Good point.
That's the way I look at it. I mean,
All right.
It's yeah.
Anything
Good call,
else?
bro. Call back.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. That's all I got, man. Thanks for taking my call, Butcher.
Bye, Virtuoso. Thank you for calling in.
Virtuoso, peace, bro.
Oh, it's Virtuoso?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have such a bad fucking connection, man. I don't understand that. I didn't even recognize your voice. Sorry, bro.
Well, I guess we
coof.
can conclude this show. I mean, listen. I don't even know what to say now. Oh, we have Stu, finally. Stu, are you there?
How's it going, boys?
What's up?
What's going on,
Stu? What's up, brother?
Fucking, I bet you thought I died of coronavirus, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought you died, man. It's like...
we thought Corona got you,
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking got me, mate. I was one of them. But nah, just had a break, innit, Just had a break from boxing and the fucking nonsense around it, and just,
in the chat,
chilling at home watching movies.
Well, you could tell one of the last times I was on, you could tell, man. You could hear it in your voice, man. You were just, you know what I mean, like a parent who's been around their kid.
Do you mean the soul drained out of me?
Yeah, you see what you were really getting edgy.
Each time I was coming on, I was losing 5 years of my life, weren't I?
5 years.
Yeah, like I said, mate. I looked in the mirror the other day and saw Kirk Douglas. That's what I'm saying.
Spartacus Kirk Douglas, or no? That was that Kirk Douglas?
No, that was.
That was Curtis.
Jesus, what's his name?
No, Kirk Douglas was in Spartacus.
Yeah, he was. I was getting confused him
Yeah,
and
I'm talking about
Heston.
Kirk Douglas.
Heston.
I'm talking about Kirk Douglas of recent times. I mean,
his son, yeah.
Kirk Douglas in his prime.
I'm not talking about. Hey, I'm not talking about like 30-year-old Kirk Douglas in the black and white movies. I'm talking about 90-year-old.
Yeah, the one that couldn't talk.
If you were saying Kirk Douglas right now, that's bad because Kirk Douglas died in February, man.
Yeah, but he fucking, by the looks of him, he died about 10 years ago.
Oh, did he die? The dude, yeah, that's right.
He died.
The one who married Kathy.
I mean, the fact that Kirk Douglas lived that long.
One who married.
Yeah, he must have reptilian blood like the royal family, because them fuckers lived to about 110, don't they?
Yeah, it's always weird, no? They live like... Anyways.
Yeah, must be a reptilian bloodline.
Kirk Douglas was 104 when he got fat.
Was he really 104?
Yeah, he was born in 1916, mate.
Fuck.
Jesus.
Jesus, he's born 1916. Damn.
He was born during the Eastern Rising, mate. Fucking hell.
Jeez, I didn't realise he lived till he was 104. Fuck's sake.
Well,
That's
103. He was in his 104th year. Too
That's
soon,
definitely
man. It was too
reptilian
soon.
bloodline.
You're talking about the father, right? Not the son who was in.
Yeah, the father of
Yeah.
Michael Douglas. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
Michael.
son-
Yeah, first the old one, right? Michaelis is the kid, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's
Yeah.
got to be hitting 70.
Well, Michael's old now too. At this
Yeah, Michael's like 70 odd, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's still with Cedar Jones there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently.
fair play to the man.
Apparently, he's a fucking he's a fucking nymphomaniac in it or something.
Oh wow.
He's a fucking sex addict. Mind you, if I was with Catherine Zeta-Jones, I'd be one as
Yeah,
well.
nympho, yeah, me too. Especially when she was in her prime, boy.
Bruh.
She was hot as
Yeah,
shit.
Michael Douglas is 76.
Gee.
And how old is Catherine Zeta-Jones right now? Like 50?
She's in her 50s, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
She was hot and entrapping. Although if she stood to the side, man, I was kind of disappointed in the flat ass. But oh well.
Yeah, she's got like the
Jimmy
surgery
the
looks like
asses,
it's
the
the
ass
surgery looks like it's took its toll on her. I tell you, I couldn't believe who's 50 years old and she's still as fucking hot as she ever was. That Gwen Stefani. I mean, she's 50 years old, that woman, and she's fucking stunning for 50.
What about Salma Hayek?
Salma Hayek,
smoking.
Yeah.
Oh, she's 55.
She's not as
banging.
great as, obviously, when she was 20.
Her daughter, have you seen her daughter recognize?
Ooh.
No, I didn't
Her
see it.
daughter's insane.
Gotta look
She's
at
even
that.
hotter than her mother was.
Let's check it
Yeah,
out.
dude, check out her daughter, dude. For real. Smoking hot. Ass and titty, everything. Man. Got the package. An ass will stop time.
She got pillows. She got pillow fluffers.
Because she has multiple daughters. I don't know which one is.
Oh, I just know there's one I always see like in.
Just look for the one of the two daughters. There's three daughters that's really hot.
Salma
Because
Hayek
bound
has
to be-
kids? I didn't
I
realize
don't
she had
know.
that many.
Yeah, she's got one daughter who's just fucking smoldering.
Wait a minute. No.
How old is Salma Hayek now? In her 50s too, right?
Yeah, 55
I'd,
or some shit.
bro, I'd still ram her up her rear end.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Smash that bucket.
I wouldn't even need a heartbeat, mate. By the time I'm done, I'd be on fucking life support.
You know who's still looking good is Shakira, man. Because I know she's.
Oh
Asian.
yeah, Shakira's banging, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't she the one that? Ain't she the one that's fucking married to Enrique Iglesias? Or something? No, not.
No, she's married to Gerard Piqué. The
That's right. She's married to. Yeah, she's married to the footballer Gerard Piqué. That's it, the Barcelona guy. I remember,
Barcelona.
Yeah, she's hot.
Well, she's not as old as those boards. She's only 43.
And she's Colombian though, and she's Colombian.
Yeah, she's Colombian, man.
Yeah,
I thought she was Venezuelan.
No,
it's Anna Kournikova that was with Enrique.
Yeah, Anna Kournikova, the shit tennis player that was with Enrique for a while. She was more famous for being good.
I'll tell you what, mate. Oh, fucking Julio. He had some numbers, didn't he? There are over 1,000 women he fucking slept with, and I believe it as well.
Yeah. I believe that too, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's what I said, though, innit? Remember when I said I was like a prime fucking Julio Iglesias?
You fucking everything.
I was exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean? Yeah, over
Yo,
1,000
Enrique's been with Anna Kournikova for 18 years. Fair play.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'd to be honest with you, I'd be happy with 18 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll be happy with 18
Yeah,
seconds.
fuck
Man.
that.
I'll be able to get off in 18 seconds.
Mark, 18 seconds is all the fuck you got.
Jesus Christ.
So what's the topic, Mayweather Pac again, is it?
No, just it's the fifth anniversary. We're celebrating the 5th year anniversary, and we just wanted to know, what happened after.
That part of shit deserves an anniversary fucking
Absolutely.
celebration. Get out of here,
It's
mate.
historical. Come on.
What's this fucking... This is not Cinco de Mayo we're talking about. This is fucking a pile of shit 5 years ago.
Well, we had a guy on the panel who was calling us casuals. For thinking it was a
DSFG.
boring fight.
And he's like 22 years old, calling us a casual.
Yeah, you would
No,
age again.
I could name fighters he's never heard of.
Let's bring him back.
Of course he could. Of course. I mean, listen, this is not. Dude, he was calling Mayweather's defeat over Pacquiao front foot dominance. I asked him to describe to me what a front foot. How do you describe front foot dominance?
Yeah.
Since you thought that he won that way, explain it to me. Oh, you don't want that doesn't know.
Front foot dominance. Hey, the only time I see Floyd fighting on the front foot was against Conor McGregor. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, he did against that Tenshin kid as well. He went in there.
Oh
And
yeah, Mark, I'm not even mentioning that fucking guy.
Yo,
I
I've
mean,
never
like,
even-
they pretended he's some kickboxer. They dragged him out of a fucking time.
Yeah, bro, leave the Pokemon alone.
I've
man.
never
He
even
tried.
seen that fight. I swear to God, never saw that fight. The Japanese guy fight.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Oh,
I'm
Gucci,
surprised
you
didn't
need to
fucking
watch
offer
that, bro. It's comedy.
Massage him
It's
with a
pure
fucking
comedy.
negotiation. Nah, he was a bum, man. I'm not even talking about that kid. That was a kid anyway. Floyd looked like a monster in there against him, didn't he?
Mike
I thought he was fighting against a Japanese lesbian at first glance.
Yeah. Yeah, the Japanese Ellen DeGeneres.
He looked like some dude that I knew I would rape in prison.
You look like one of those Filipino boys there.
Yeah, that made Pat. I mean, fucking hell, the longer I forget about that, the better. I mean, it's just ruined boxing for years. I mean, do you know what? That took a lot of money out of a lot of fighters' pockets, that did. Because fighters had to fucking graft after that fight because people switched off boxing. You know, it turned a lot of people, and it turned away new fans that jumped on board with the. I mean, like I said, it was a big occasion that made, Pat, especially in the UK. I mean, the amount of women that I see on my timeline, Facebook, saying, "Oh, they just ordered the boxing," you know, and stuff. For women from the UK to stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 sometimes to watch a big fight, you know, I'm paid for it as well. That just shows you how big the event was, and it fucking failed miserably. And then the next day, you're going on the timeline. These women are on there saying what a pussy Floyd Mayweather is, and they're never going to watch boxing again. So I mean, is that good for the sport?
But we
Well,
had
you
guys,
know.
I guess, in the chat, and we had a guy on the panel telling us how it was great for the sport, and yeah, basically because Mayweather won. That's all. At the end of the day, they care about. They don't care about the sport.
Oh, did you tell Stu about this other guy, the caller, accusing us, basically saying that we're complaining about the fight because Floyd won?
Right, the results. That's what.
Yeah,
we're
the
complaining
result.
about.
It was just shit. I blame both of them. They were both.
That's what I'm-
Listen,
we said that.
Yeah, me too. I've given Manny as much shit. I'm gonna. Well, I've said it out loud.
Yeah.
Manny threw that fight, took a backhander. Manny's a
We
fucking
even-
piece of shit for that. I'm not gonna,
we
you
were
know.
telling
and
him that.
I'm-
We were-
let's be real, I love
said
Manny
it.
Pacquiao, but he's done some wrong uns in boxing, and I'm not gonna get into that. But he's not been no fucking angel. Let's put that right. So he was the first one to blame because he's the one that didn't press the action. He's the one that looked like he took a fucking backhander, taking the sting off his punches, pulling his punches, barely throwing anything. When he hurt Floyd, what's the first thing he does? Back off. Who does that? When you hurt a fighter in a top fight especially Floyd,
Well-
how often are you going to hurt Floyd Mayweather? Very rare. When you do hurt him, you jump on him.
What if he was
Pacquiao
injured?
fucking backed off. Pacquiao injury my ass.
I don't
Injury
know.
my fucking ass.
Okay.
They weren't no fucking Manny pulled that injury excuse to save face because he was embarrassed for what he did.
Well,
That's the fact. I know the packtards on here will be fucking pulling their tampons out and beating their girlfriends up.
Nah, fuck the pack tards, man. Fuck them. Like, straight up, the fight was fucking trash. Manny was trash. Floyd was boring. It was fucking garbage. Like, if you're a Pacquiao fan, you're like, he was injured. Yo, your boy lost and he fucking underperformed. For whatever reason, whether it was a fixed fight or the fact that he was just not able to fucking do anything.
Well, I can tell, I'll admit that I did hear that he was injured, and that's the reason why I put money on Mayweather to win, and I didn't watch the fight. I put my money on that motherfucker to win, and I still didn't watch it because I didn't
Mayweather
see
did,
the fight.
Mayweather did win the fight, but that doesn't mean anything.
No, I know,
To
but I'm
beat a
just saying
guy-
I was glad I put money on it, but that fight sucked. The bottom line is that fight sucked. They both sucked. We said
But
that
Jimmy,
to that guy.
it's like Golovkin though. Like nearly before every fight, I've heard rumors that Manny Pacquiao's injured for like 12 years. Nearly before every fight, I heard he was injured going into the Hatton fight when he railroaded him. Every time Golovkin's about to fight, I hear he has a cold or a flu.
Yeah, he has coronavirus.
Well, no, any
has
fighter,
coronavirus.
any fighter training all the time, especially back in the day when they fight 3-4 times a
Golovkin's
year,
a fucking.
you always.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
No, I was going to say you always carry some kind of injury. There's a difference from being hurt and being injured. You know what I mean? Everybody's got little aches, pains, but and I guess from what the person told me was Freddie Roach was telling him. Freddie Roach was telling people that and a few people around him before his brother died. His brother was kind of a loudmouth, Freddie's brother, and their family. Like his mom used to give me fucking gum all the time, Barbara Roach, when she was a judge down at the fucking arena around the street from my house. So I mean, so when the Roaches was saying that, yeah, Manny shouldn't, I guess really his shoulder's fucked up, but he didn't want to lose the money. That's all he cared about. And a lot of people in that camp, I guess,
He had
strained some relationships.
Didn't he have a
Listen,
tear, one and a half in his rotator cuff?
Listen, if he's punching hard enough, to hurt Floyd, then that shoulder's not as bad as he's saying it is. Look, he barely threw anything. What was wrong with the other hand? What's wrong with throwing the other fucking hand? He never threw that either, did that? Was that a shoulder injury there as well? Come on, man. Stop.
And
Stop
listen, I'm
buying
not
these
making
fucking excuses for Manny. Same with Golovkin. The guy's a fucking hypochondriac.
And I'm not making excuses. I said from the beginning that fight was god awful. You know what I mean? By no means am I saying that's making excuses for Pacquiao. I put money on him after.
You know why I don't believe the Triple G shit? Because Triple G's fights are all exciting. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Triple G, how the fuck do you have a flu and you're dying and you're still fucking excited? Like, I know you're
Yeah,
good,
this
but
dude's
nobody
always got the flu, bro. And then he has a couple bad performances, and everyone's like, "Well, he had the flu." Yeah, well, he had a fucking flu when he fucking damn near killed fucking everyone he fought against. When he fought Curtis Stevens, he had like pneumonia or some shit 2 weeks beforehand, and he got over it
I
in
think
2
he's
days.
I think you know what it is. You know what I think it is. You know when you go to like a different climate, you get like a little bit of a cold. But
Yeah,
that doesn't really do shit to you though. It
Do you
doesn't
know what
really-
I think it is? Do you know what I think it is? I think it's all bullshit.
Yeah, of course it is. It's just
He
like you
didn't have
say.
no fucking cold. He didn't feel anything. There's fine. He's
Dude, you could
always
have a
been
cold.
fine.
You could have a cold and still be like a fucking rock star. It
You
doesn't
should
matter.
always have your fighter. If you're training somebody, you should always dose them hard in vitamin C,
Hey,
especially in the
guys.
last month, because of the
Oops.
fact that when you completely tax your system to go down to the weights that these guys go down to, you tax your immune system, and it's easier to catch different ailments and colds. But if you
Yeah.
just really pile a fighter up with vitamin C, that usually will take care of that.
We
That's
got
what I do.
another.
I take
We got a phone call. We didn't get his name, but go ahead. He called before.
Oh, hi, King. Just thanks for letting me call again. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that. I mean, I discovered your show initially from watching Stu on his Mike Tyson. Is he overhyped or not? And it opened up my eyes, to be honest, a lot. I'm only 40 years old, and I've been watching boxing probably for about 25 years. But that video opened my eyes up a lot, to be honest. I think it's more nostalgic. And obviously, then I've been watching your shows over the last sort of 10 days. I've discovered it. I've been watching sort of older videos. But this is the first time I've watched the whole thing live. And it's amazing how many people you got ringing up, talking complete garbage about, for example, like today's episode with Floyd, with these people with their eyes blinkered on. And I'm thinking, I respect you guys, because I don't know how you guys tolerate it by allowing these people to talk garbage for so long before kicking them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we believe in freedom of
I said,
speech. Yeah, go ahead, Stu.
there's a price to pay. I mean, if you look at us, we've all aged about 10 years. We look like vampires
Oh,
that haven't
mate.
drunk blood for a month. I mean, it's taking its toll on us.
Mate, I'm 27 and I look 63.
Yeah.
Well, like you got
Mark's
that
walking
call,
around
I mean,
like
you got,
Mark's walking around like Brendan Ingle.
that kid DSG, he was telling, like, what I don't like is when they start that shit when he says to recognize, oh, come on, I bodied you. It's like, dude, are you serious?
You
Man?
body me, little man. You couldn't body
Yeah,
me.
you know what I mean?
If
Don't
I was
craziness.
both hands tied behind my back, you wouldn't be able to.
Yo,
body me.
Jens, real
the
fast.
worst boxing fan you'll find is the one that hugs onto a fighter's nuts. So he's not really a boxing fan; he's a fanboy of a fighter, and they're the worst.
It's
You know,
terrible.
like just because they're not invested in the sport; they're invested in another man.
You couldn't
Do you know
even
what I mean?
describe front foot dominance, Stu. You had to hear this. I asked him to describe what does front foot dominance mean, because he kept using it. I said, "What does that mean to you? Like, explain it." Oh, you don't know
That's
what
a
it is.
very
His
interesting term. That
response
sounds
was,
like Max Kellerman shit.
yeah, his response was, you don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, his response was to yell at you, raise his voice. I was
Yeah.
expecting him to start slapping his hands in time with his syllables. You don't know what you know what I mean? When you see, I get chicks do that when they get all hyped up.
Yeah. See, this is why I go fucking Tony Spilotro disappearances now and again because
Yeah.
I have to get away to recharge the batteries and bring some sanity back into my life.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, you know, I mean, just enjoying life and being around sane people is a start. And like with this boxing thing, you know, you just although all the guys on the panel and a lot of the guys in the chat, great guys, it's just that there's a lot of toxic characters around as well, and it does drain you. But this is boxing. I mean, like I said, boxing's a sport for the working class, isn't it, and from the tough streets. So you're going to get low IQ retards, and that's
Go ahead,
just
caller.
it.
Real fast.
No,
Caller, what's your name?
My apologies. I didn't realize. I said I didn't realize how many Bellends and Ming Bongs there are in this this specific program. I mean, a lot of these guys. I mean, especially one that you said he's like 22 years old, and you think, dude, you're like a test tube baby, man. You probably would have been better.
Oh, yeah.
The blowjob, you know, just
I know.
the crap coming out of his mouth. Because I don't know where exactly. But you think, can you imagine if you were in London, mate, talking complete crap like the way you're doing, you know, on the show? I think Bucho and his friend Project, I don't know his name, but I thought they're very, very amicable, very polite and pleasant, and allowing the guy to talk such crap. And you know, you think that was in England, mate? We would have kicked him out the pub if they stopped talking shit, mate.
Yeah, I think you're talking about.
Yeah, you get him, caller.
Yeah, I think you're talking about King Butcho. I mean, if you don't know King Butcho loves a bit of drama. That's why you'll see the titles LDBC welcome, and that's basically opening the gates to the fucking retards, isn't it? So
Stu just letting it out.
But caller,
Yeah,
did
real
you say
fast.
that you watched caller? Did you say that you watched a video of mine with Mike Tyson or something? Did I say that?
When?
I'm sure
Yeah, I'm
it
trying
was
to-
you yourself, and I might be wrong, but I'm sure you done a video. Was it quite recently about was Mike Tyson overhyped or not? Was it yourself?
Oh,
I'm not sure, you know. I'm trying to think if I made that video or not. But I've spoke about Mike Tyson plenty of times on here.
We had a live podcast, and you were there too.
That's what we had a podcast and we were speaking about Tyson. Yeah, look, Mike Tyson's one of my heroes, but you've got to keep it real.
Yeah.
The resume's not the greatest. There was a lot of guys that he fought past their best, and a lot of guys in there were beaten before they even got in the ring. And anyone that stood up to Mike Tyson, anyone that had a bit of range, was tall and could box off and use the jab and had a nice straight right hand, could beat Mike Tyson. And I think you found that anyone that had them credentials could trouble Mike Tyson. He struggled them sort of stuff. I mean, even Bone Crusher Smith. I mean, Mike Tyson was at his best when he fought Bone Crusher Smith, and he could barely hit Bone Crusher Smith all night because Bone Crusher Smith just used his range and tied him up on the inside. It was messy, it was horrible, but that's how you control a small guy like Tyson. That's why I always think that Tyson would struggle with someone like Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury just
too big. That would be
Yeah, I think he's just too big, man.
Yeah, just too big, and he just maul him. And yeah, I mean, don't get wrong, Mike could get inside and throw that shot, and it's all over. But
I'm not too sure about that. I don't know if he can hit Tyson Fury.
But you know, like what I have a hard time with is you know these fucking dudes.
It's definitely your
Oh,
video.
sorry.
Your video had the BT boxing thing, and you were saying like, how can Mike Tyson get to the final for all these people? Yeah, definitely was your video, and for me, it was a serious eye opener. You know, that the way you explained it, it was a very good, informative video. I would suggest anybody to go watch it on a serious note, because it wasn't disrespectful. You just highlight the truth.
thank you, brother. And that's what this show's about. Look, Mike's my hero, but you've got to. If you're going to come on here, you've got to tell the truth. And the truth is, you know, about Mike, there's things you can pick up. He's not the. See, the thing is with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was, because I was around in the 80s as a young kid, and Mike Tyson was a massive star back then. And Mike Tyson they reckon Mike Tyson was more famous than the president around the world at that time. That's how
At
big
one point
he
he was, man.
Yeah, that's how big of a star he was.
I would agree with that.
Hang on a sec. He had an aura about him, Mike Tyson, that he was an unstoppable monster. And everyone thought, I mean, even my mum that doesn't like boxing, when you talk about boxing to her, she doesn't like it, but she always says, oh, I like that Tyson. He was an animal, that Tyson. It was just bred in it. Everyone believed it. That's why when he lost to Buster Douglas, I mean, we was all in shock for a fucking week, weren't we? Do you know what I mean? So it was the aura put around him by the media, by everyone, the hype. And I think it took away connecting the dots and looking what really was in front of you. And I think that when you get older and you get a bit more knowledgeable in boxing, you start to see things and start to look at resumes and opponents and styles, and you start to understand what Mike was about a bit better, sort of thing. That's my best way of explaining it. But that doesn't take away Mike Tyson still number 6, number 7 all-time great heavyweights in my list, definitely. But you've just got to say Lennox Lewis was just a level above him. I don't think he'd ever beat Lennox Lewis and people like that. I said, Vladimir would be a problem for him. Them sort of fights, Vitali, big guys. Larry Holmes in his prime would have been a much tougher fight for him. So
I still believe Larry Holmes prime for prime beats Mike Tyson.
Yeah, me too, brother. Me too.
Yeah, you talking
But
prime
I
for
tell you what,
prime.
I
I think he beats
I
with
don't
that
remember
jab.
this, but when Frank Bruno fought Tyson the first time, he did rock him, and I did wonder why didn't Frank really go for it? Because obviously Frank sort of held back, and then unfortunately it was all over because Tyson recovered by that point.
Yeah,
You see, there's a big misconception on Frank. A lot of people look at him as a mauler. He was actually he was a back foot counterpuncher, and his finishing instinct. Yeah, his finishing instincts weren't as high as most people
Listen,
just because he's a big unit.
Yeah, that's spot on, Mark. The thing with Bruno, he was so fucking shocked he hurt Mike. The time he'd clocked like he'd hurt him, Mike had recovered. He's just... that's the thing with Bruno. Like I said, Bruno was dumb as a box of rocks. And this is the problem. People always say... Frank Bruno had a poor chin. No, he didn't. He just didn't know what to do when he got hit. He froze. He just stood there and took
froze and he had stamina issues.
Yeah, he didn't have a bad chin because I've seen him take some monster punches. I mean, he took about 30 punches off Witherspoon. Clean punches, do you know what I mean? So, and Lennox Lewis was nearly took his head off. The guy, he just freezes when he gets hit and he goes in sort of robotic mode. And that's when
he was
gets
giving Lewis a good
up.
fight. He was giving Lewis.
He was out jabbing Lennox actually.
Yeah, he was. He was winning the jab back.
That's true.
But that's the thing about Frank. If you jab with Frank, he will out jab most people.
He will out jab you. Yeah.
He will out jab most people. You need to take it to Frank to beat him. You need to shock and awe him. That's the thing about him. He's so big and such a unit.
Exactly.
But in your video, when you said actually in your video, I mean it's a 24-minute video and it was really informative. I'm honestly, people have watch it. But when you said, "Who has Mike Tyson actually beaten?" and I paused the video, I thought, "Fuck me, I can't. It's not a real big name I can think of. I can think of Michael Spinks, or Trevor Burbeck," and I thought, "Fuck me, I can't think of anybody great." When I pressed the play button, straight away, like you told the truth. It's nobody great.
Dude, I've looked up this video. Was Mike Tyson overhyped? Was this about a week to 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been me.
Yes.
That wasn't Stu. That was a channel called UCTV. I'm subscribed to him. I watched the same video as you. That wasn't Stu.
Well, to defy Tyson's defense,
it sounded so similar to you. So my apologies, mate.
That's all right. Listen, that's all right because basically what he said, I've been saying for fucking years anyway on here. It's in evidence. Basically, I've said the same stuff. Mike hasn't really got. I mean, are we going to class Trevor Burbick a fucking great win? No, I'm not. I mean, let's be real. Mitch Green went the distance with this guy. I mean,
can I say something about Mitch Green real fast? Mitch Green had an amazing chin. The only fight he ever got stopped in, it had nothing to do with being punched. It was the fact that he wasn't throwing punches. And he actually has a very good stat. He's one of only 2 heavyweights in American history to be a 4-time Golden Glove winner. That dude could actually box. He was just a punishment to himself.
An all-time great should be making easy work on Mitch Green.
Mitch Green got dropped
by
Tyson.
Lennox Lewis would have took Mitch Green's head off.
Well, they fought in the amateurs and he didn't.
Amateurs are different. We can't go by amateurs. Come on, man.
Yeah, but you also remember we're talking about size. What makes Mike Tyson a great heavyweight was he was undersized. And he had explosive ability. Now
he was only 19 years old when he broke onto the scene.
No one's knocking Mike, right? I'm not knocking Mike. I said number 6, number 7 in my all-time great heavy list. But we're just breaking down It's a bit of criteria, really. Break it down
exactly.
his resume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you
some
can't
people that
break
over
it.
exaggerate their
And
love
to
for
go
football.
with,
Yeah.
Go
and
ahead,
to Stu,
Jimmy.
to echo your point about culturally, he was so big. Like if you figure that in, like, you know what I mean, in greatness, like to me, it has so much memories in my life because, like you said, his fights were so huge. They were events. They weren't just
The
regular
thing is,
boxing.
yeah. When I
You know what I
think,
mean? So that has a lot
when
to
I go
do with
back to, because I like to live in the past. I'm a Libra. Libras like to live in the past, and I'm the one for that same. But I still go around with fucking retro tracksuits on sometimes from the fucking 80s. You know what I mean? Just all the fucking Sergio Tacchini and Fila and all them. But I still live in the past, and when I think of the 80s, which I loved, well, I loved it in the 80s. Mike Tyson's one of the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of the 80s. I just think of Mike straight away, and and they were good times, man. Fucking good time. But Mike came in there with them. The first time I saw Mike when he came in there with a towel around him, then fucking Jack Dempsey boots and shorts. Just looked an absolute monster, that line in his fucking head. And I just thought, this guy's, as a young kid, when you see someone like Mike Tyson, it's just an aura around him, weren't there? There's just this fucking aura around him that no man could beat.
Well,
He was
think
like,
about it, Stu. Here's this
he was like the Black
undersized
Hercules,
heavyweight.
weren't he? He was like the fucking Black Hercules. That
Here's
no
this
one could beat this
undersized
guy.
heavyweight. Here's this undersized heavyweight who's built like a brick, but in reality, in the ring against the guys he's going up against, a lot of them, these guys were bigger men than them. But he moved so fast to his attack, okay, that it was just explosive. It was unbelievable. Okay, when it came to the bigger names, he lost to those guys. He was a smaller guy
that
against
was after
most of them.
prison, though.
Yeah, and
That
this
was
is
after a
after
3-year
prison.
bid in
Exactly.
prison. That was never the same.
After prison, of course, like
He was
in the grand
emotionally and
scheme of
mentally
things,
broken. He was in a dark place. He
Larry
was doing a
Holmes.
ton of cocaine.
I think Larry Holmes would have beat him. Guys like that would have beat him. But he in their prime. But he was so exceptionally skilled because he had to be for being 5'10", 5'11", whatever his height was, 215.
Could you imagine what he would have been like at 190 pounds as a cruiserweight if he was able to make that weight ahead easily?
Greatest cruiserweight of all time.
Yeah, he would have been. He'd have killed them all.
Once
He would have killed them all. Exactly. He would have killed them all.
And it's a shame that cruiserweight's got lost a bit. It just doesn't have that respect, does it? The cruiserweight champion, like it does the heavyweight division, and he wouldn't have been the same. Wouldn't have had the same aura about him being the cruiserweight champion. That heavyweight title's always got that prestige, hasn't it?
Tyson looked at his body. Tyson looked at himself and said, "Yeah, I could fight a heavyweight." I'm telling you, that's exactly what he said. Tim said he looked at himself and said, "Yeah, I could fight a heavyweight and I could beat these guys up." You know what I'm saying? I could beat these guys that outweigh me by 20 pounds and got 4 or 5 inches in height over me.
Like, still spot on, by the way, about the word, like, the heavyweight shit. Because, when you were a kid, and you're in a gym or whatever, and you're boxing, and you start doing the chants in your head, like, of your name, and you're like in the new. Because
Heavyweight
we've all
champion of
done
the
that.
world.
And you can be 96 pounds and you're like, and the new heavyweight champion. It doesn't matter. That's the honest truth. You don't say, and the new super flyweight champion of the world. You know what I mean?
Hey guys, caller, anything else?
I mean, just one very quick thing. Yeah, the only thing for me, I thought the after Tyson, the nearest thing that I remember boxing wise was probably, was it Gerald McClain? I think he had like 20 first round knockouts in sort of the first round. But
yeah, Gerald McClellan.
Gerald McClellan, yeah.
Yeah, but fucking didn't Shannon Briggs have more than that? 30, didn't he? Shannon Briggs.
Shannon Briggs had a bunch of first round knockouts too.
I think he had 36, 30, around 30.
Then Darnell Wilson showed what a hype job he was.
Look, caller, who's your favourite heavyweight of all time then? Before you go,
right. Yep.
Caller, who's your favourite heavyweight of all time? Before you go,
I've got to say Mike Tyson. I can't lie, but that's more from nostalgia. Sort of growing up playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Me too. There you go. That's from what you've been. That's what your mind's telling you. Because when growing up as a kid, everyone was telling you that, and that's just stuck in you.
Listen, my favorite fighter, my favorite heavyweight fighter is Mike Tyson. The best heavyweights I've seen, Larry Holmes and Lennox Lewis. Best heavyweights I've seen.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis is my top guy. I think he's the greatest. But Look,
Larry's
you
mine.
could put a
Larry's
Joe Lewis. You could put a Joe Lewis in there. You could
Right,
put
but
Muhammad
that's
Ali
before.
in there.
I mean, that's on video. That's me watching video.
Yeah.
That's me going back in the day. I'm talking about guys that I grew up seeing. I caught Larry in the back end of his career, so I can't say that I saw his prime.
Look, I tell you how great
It made me
Lennox.
watch his.
Go ahead,
It just
recognise.
made
Sorry,
me
bro.
watch some of his earlier fights, and I see this dude fucking beat guys with his jab alone.
Yeah.
Like that. That was just amazing.
Look, Lennox Lewis.
I think if Lewis,
Right, I'll tell you how good I'll tell you how great Lennox Lewis was. Lennox Lewis passed his best on his last legs. Still managed to beat Vitaly Klitschko, a young Vitaly. I mean, that just shows how good Lennox Lewis was. He beat whether you think he was stopped prematurely or not. Who do you think put them fucking stitches on his face? It weren't Mickey with the fuck. Could be Mickey. He weren't there, was he? Do you know what I mean?
Lennox,
fucking Lennox put them fucking stitches there, and that was a Lennox on his last legs. That just shows you how great that guy was. And when you look at that resume, it's just young lion after young lion, KO artist after KO artist, legend after legend. The resume speaks for itself. Anyone that doesn't rate Lennox Lewis is wow.
All right, we gotta move on. Caller, thanks for the phone call, man.
What's the caller's name, Bucho?
What's your name?
For future.
Stu. My name's Abby.
Bobby. All right.
Yeah. Stu, one last question. Do you think Lennox Lewis's thing would have been more better if he managed to fight Riddick Bowe and beat him?
Yes. So what can you do? Yeah, what can you do if a man don't want to fight you then? What can you do if a man don't want to fight? What can you do when a man throws his belt in the bin and ducks you at every opportunity?
Okay, Stu, you're getting into controversial territory here.
Riddick Bowe.
Let me say this to Stu real fast. Stu, I don't know if you've seen it. There was an interview on Rummy's Corner with Emmanuel Stewart, and Emmanuel Stewart said that the reason Riddick Bowe wouldn't fight Lennox is because Eddie Futch told him he would lose. That's from Emmanuel Stewart's arm there.
Well, there you go. And I know if Mark's done his research, that's true. If Mark's telling me that, I know it's true because he don't fucking.
I think
say
it's a
stuff
coincidence. He beats him as an amateur, and he doesn't want to fight him as a pro. Like I don't buy that.
Look, it's anything like. It's like anything, brother. When you get whooped by someone, you're not really keen to go and take that whooping again. No matter how long ago it was.
Yeah. Eddie Futch told him he can't beat him, bro, and that's like one of the greatest traders of all time. Eddie Futch.
Riddick Bowe was famously lazy, like historically, like one of the laziest fucking boxers probably ever. Very lazy.
The thing is, though, like I said, you saw. I mean, Riddick Bowe was a terrific fight. Don't get me wrong, but you saw what a small Holyfield who took it to him. I mean, he gave Riddick Bowe all he could fucking handle. I know Holyfield's an all-time great, but a man the size of Riddick Bowe, with his fucking boxing skills, should have dealt with Holyfield a lot easier than he did. He even got dropped heavily by him. I mean, if you think when you look at Bowe's resume, it's probably his only decent win he has got. Because look, Andrew Gallotta fucking was bashing this guy all over the place, and I just couldn't understand why Gallotta did what he did, but he was winning both of them fights to me. And look what Lennox Lewis did to Andrew Gallotta. I mean, fucking, it was over before the kettle had boiled.
All right, we gotta move on.
Take care, Abby.
Take care, man.
Take it easy, Abby.
We gotta let you go, bro.
Thanks, man.
Call in again, kid.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Hold on. DSFG, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
I don't know.
You want? Okay, so Stu's here, so now he can hear what you were saying. And why do you keep talking shit in the chat, though?
That's not talking shit. That's just facts.
Factual facts.
Who is
You
this?
named them.
Who is this good guy? Butcher, who is this?
Factual facts. But,
DSFG.
To that guy's point about Lennox Lewis,
Mr. Facts with a Z. Mr. Facts with a Z.
Facts, but what I said in the comments,
Actual
you can
facts.
for yourself.
Hey, DSFG, actual facts.
As boxing fans, we did get cheated out of Tua and Mike Tyson fight, but at least Lennox Lewis fought both of those guys. So, but
that's true.
Tua and Tyson was
DSFG.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I want to talk actual facts with you. You called people on this panel casuals, right?
Who is this? Unrival?
Yes, sir.
Is Mark?
Yes.
This sound like Mark.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
You called
So I
people
know
on this
your
panel
angle.
casuals.
I
So
know your
I'm
angle,
gonna
but-
ask you. I'm gonna ask you an easy question. Easy question for you. right? Because I don't like
I'm
people
saying
calling
I'm
people
saying
casuals.
facts based on my comments. You want to
No,
address
hold
it? Are
on.
you going?
This is
Wait,
just an
hold on, hold
actual.
on.
You're saying
Are
you speak nothing
Can
but
I ask you
actual
something?
facts,
Can
so
I
you're
ask you
gonna
something real
answer this
quick? Mark,
question.
Mark,
It's
Mark.
one
Can I ask you
simple
something?
question, bro.
Wait.
It's one simple question. Look at him. He's deflecting and ducking
Yeah,
because he
come
knows
on.
he's not going to be able to answer my question.
Ask the question, dude, because he's not gonna. So just mute him. Ask the
I
question,
muted.
and if he
Yeah.
doesn't answer it, hang up.
Hold
Yeah.
on, though. Let me
Doesn't
say
know
this
the
though.
answer.
No. There's no hanging on.
No,
He
no,
will
hold
ask a
on.
question.
You
and
wanted to
will
call
answer it.
people. You wanted to call people casuals, right? Who's the first ever WBC world champion?
I didn't hear the question, man. Shit.
Who's the very first ever WBC world champion?
I don't even know that.
I don't even know. That's the thing, though.
Mark,
Mark,
ask
ask
him.
something
Okay,
more.
okay.
Mark,
Bro.
ask
Okay,
another question. That's
you asked the question. That's the question you asked, obviously. But my question was to you was what my comment was. That's not facts. Can you address my comments first?
which comment?
Which
Which
comment?
comment?
Which
Anyone that
comment?
you saying, you know what I'm saying?
This
You
guy's
saying it's
crazy,
not. I'm
bro.
not talking facts. So point out what I'm not saying is
Which
not facts.
comment? Repeat the
Okay,
comment.
explain front foot dominant. The term.
Oh yeah.
No,
Okay, you know what front foot dominant
What's front
is?
foot dominance to
No,
you?
we're asking you because you can't say we know because we don't. We've not heard that from anyone else in the history of the sport other than you. So
What?
you need to explain to us what that is.
Okay,
I've never heard that
this
term
what I
before.
mean by
Front foot
this what I mean
dominant.
by this what I mean by front foot dominant.
Okay.
When you're walking
what does a
down
fighter
on your
have to
phone,
do?
Let
Hold
him
on,
talk.
hold on.
Let him
Let him
talk.
talk. Let him talk. No.
I know. I'm just
it's
trying to
DSFG.
ask a
It's
question.
really simple though. It's basically you walking down, you standing your ground against an opponent, and you're walking down, and exchange is going forward. You know what I'm saying? So front foot dominant means you not backing up whatsoever if you don't have to, but you mainly pushing you being mainly the aggressor. That's basically what it
That
is. You know what
that's
I'm
real
saying?
Okay.
Which
general
I
Now
said,
That's
I'm
not.
going.
That's
hold
not it.
Now,
on,
guys,
hold on. Let me
hold on
elaborate. Let
for
me
a second.
elaborate. Let me
Hold on.
elaborate real quick on what I mean by that.
You
Because
just
the guy said,
elaborated. You just elaborated. You said
hold
that
on, no, I
you
didn't. No, I
walk
didn't.
people
Because
down,
the
you
guy,
talk, and
I
you
answered, but
don't
I said,
take
hold
any
on. I
steps
said the
backward. Now
guy
I'm gonna
said,
say something. No, hold on. No, you're
hold
gonna
on, hold
hold
on.
up before you get
The
booted off.
guy said that
Now I'm gonna
Mayweather.
say you said earlier because I was listening. You said rounds
We're talking
8,
about
9, 10, and
Mayweather. That's
11.
why.
Now when you were saying that, I decided I'm gonna go to round 8. And do you know what I noticed? Floyd stepped forward twice, landed one punch when he stepped forward twice. Manny Pacquiao stepped forward for the majority of the 8 rounds of that. He was the one going forward. When Floyd was landing punches, it wasn't
If you
him
listen
moving
carefully,
forward.
what I
It was
said,
him
I said
standing his ground, which is not front foot dominant. And that's an actual fact.
Thank you.
I
And you need
said,
to
No,
get
hold
your
on.
front
If you
foot
actually
terminology
listen,
correct.
what
if
front
you
foot
actually listen to
dominance
my
means
statement, what I
is
said,
front foot.
If you
Front
can't
foot.
tell the
you
difference
can't have me on
between
and then mute.
a front foot.
Well, hold on. Okay, he
Listen,
says. He
hey,
says.
let
Hold
me
on.
talk. Let me talk. Because this fucking guy, this guy just says facts before he says anything, and I'm getting all mixed up.
Facts.
I haven't got a clue what he's fucking saying. I don't get what his
Facts.
point is.
Okay, so
This is why I lose the will to live when I come on here.
hold on, you
Look, and in talks, you
cut
can't
me
have a
off.
conversation with this guy. He's just like he's like a noise in the background, isn't he? Why don't you shut the fuck up and let people talk to him, man?
You cut me off.
It's just fucking ignorant. Dude,
Listen,
it's not. No, it's no. You make a
yeah, but
comment
I've
and
just
you
listened
try
to
to
you enough.
respond.
Listen. If you're going to be a boxing fan, then the first thing you got to learn to be a boxing fan, if you're
You
going to
cut me
bring into
off,
shows
bro.
and try and get your point across, is to know the difference between front foot fighting and back foot fighting. If you can't tell
Hold
the
on.
difference between that, then you've got no business
You cut
ringing
me
in.
off,
You just haven't.
and then you kept talking. You kept rambling, and then you cut me off again. And I'm trying to get
No,
my point across.
rambling's fucking out of the irony of this guy.
Then you cut me off again.
The
All
irony of
right,
all
go
things.
ahead. This
Jesus
DSFG. Let him
Christ,
talk, and
bro.
then somebody else
What I
talk.
said was, since he just
Wait, time out.
highlighted
One at a time. One at a time.
One at a time.
One at a time. Go ahead.
DSFG, go ahead.
all I was saying was, he said he went back and watched the 8th round. What I specifically said was go back. What happened in the 8th round, 9th round, 10th round? You ain't hear none of that. So you just heard the 8th round.
No, I did. I literally said that, and I was watching the 8th round. Now, you said in each of those rounds, he was front foot dominant, and he
Right.
wasn't in the 8th round. That's the word you used, and that's an actual fact. You can replay that on the
Bro,
clip.
he went forward against Pacquiao in those
Twice
rounds.
in the 8th
He had a
round. Twice
chance
in the 8th
in
round,
those
and he spent
rounds.
2
And
minutes
he
and
dominated
25
going
seconds
forward
either on the
in
back
those
foot or
rounds.
standing his ground. That's not
And he
front
was
foot
on the back
dominant.
foot too. So what are you talking about? He just all
That's
angles, all
literally
skill
not front.
sets
He
all right.
spent 2 minutes 20
Here's the
seconds
deal.
either standing his ground or being on the back foot. That's not front
He
foot
was standing his
dominant.
ground.
Walking
He was
forward
countering
twice in the
Pacquiao. What
round
you
or
mean?
turning
Pacquiao wasn't doing
if you
nothing.
turn your opponent, that's not front foot dominant. When you've been on the defensive, you turn them and then you go backwards. Just because it looks like you can trash them, that's not front foot dominant.
So for the most
And
part,
what
you
he's calling
saying
front foot
Pacquiao
dominance
was
is ring
dominant,
generalship.
front foot dominant, because that's what he was doing most of the fight. Was coming forward. So that's what you
All
saying.
right.
You saying
Here's the
Pacquiao
deal.
wasn't on the back foot.
All right, DSFG.
No,
We're gonna do
I am
this.
absolutely not saying anything
This
that
is
you're trying to
That's what he's
translate
Mark.
saying,
because
bro.
you
Hold on. This
obviously
is
don't know
Mark.
what you're talking about.
Mark. This is what we're gonna do. DSFG and Mark. We're gonna watch the fight. What round 8, 9, and 10. We're gonna watch them together at some point. So you gotta get some. Get Discord DSFG, or we can do it on the StreamYard. Anyways, we're gonna watch that rounds, and then we're gonna see who was right. Okay.
DSFG. Let me explain something to you. When you say, look, I grew up in boxing gyms, and I'm sorry, brother. I don't care what you think you know. You sound like you're in your 20s. I'm 47. I'm almost 50. I know way more boxing than you do. Front foot dominance is beating your man. You know that term, beating your man, the guy in front of you.
You
Off
are. Hold on. This is
the
what you
front
doing
foot,
wrong.
off the front
This is what you
foot.
doing
No,
wrong.
don't tell people to hold on,
Well,
dude.
no,
Who are
no,
you to
wait,
tell people to
DFG, you
hold
gotta
on?
shut up for a second and let me speak, man. Okay, you gotta be quiet for a second. Front foot
And you gotta
dominance
listen for.
means you. All right, I'll listen to you. I'll listen to
Shut your
you. I'll
fucking
listen to
mouth,
you.
bro, and let the dude speak, and then you'll
Listen,
have your chance to speak.
then you can
Yeah,
have your turn.
remember
You're
whose
just afraid
show
of
this
me to
is.
speak.
Remember whose show this is. You're a caller, bruv. Remember that.
You're a caller. Yes, that's right. What front foot dominance, the very definition of that is, first of all, it's ring generalship. Okay, that's number one. Second, the second, which goes into ring generalship, you're beating your
Pull up the
man to the
fight, bro.
point
Pull
of
up the fight,
dominance.
bro.
Yo, shut up, man. Let me
Oh,
speak for a
fuck,
second.
dude.
You gotta shut up for a second. Let me finish my point. Okay, front foot dominance means off the front foot, you are beating your man in exchanges to the point of dominance. That's what it means. Front foot
Okay.
dominance doesn't mean
Hold on.
holding your
Are you
own.
done? Are you
It doesn't
done?
mean you're in an even exchange with your man. You guys are not really
Are
landing
you
anything.
done?
You know, it's
He'll be
Are
done
you
when he's done
done?
speaking. Until
Yeah,
then,
man,
man.
calm
speaking,
Shut
down.
don't
up,
ask him, is
man.
he done?
He has no
Fucking
patience.
Jesus.
No patience. He'll
You
let
have
you
no
know.
patience. You a young buck.
You're cool to
Cause
be
he
done
keep
in a minute.
rambling, bro. He
Yeah,
keep rambling.
you're.
Oh god.
Listen, young buck. I'm trying to teach you something. Okay, I'm trying to teach you something. Now, listen. That is the front. That is the definition of front foot dominance. You say that in a gym, they'll laugh at you. Your explanation of a front foot dominance. You know what they will tell you? All right, show me that front foot dominance, so they can hurt you. That's what they would do,
Hey,
and then they will tell you after that. The reason why they did that to you is because you have a total misconception of what front foot dominance is. You
okay.
don't
Are you
have no
done?
idea what that
Are you
means.
done?
Yeah,
I'm
Bucho, kick
done,
him
young
off. He
buck.
keeps
Yes,
interrupting the
I'm
man
done, young
before
buck.
he's finished.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yes, he's
I'm
done,
done,
man.
young
Go ahead.
boy. Yes.
Okay. Now, for one, I did not say front foot dominant for majority of the fight. You go back to my comments, bro, and read what I
Whatever.
said. I said he front foot dominant, but he also displayed other ring generalship. He also displayed back foot. He also, when he was front foot dominant, he had more success on Pacquiao. So I'm not just pointing out. I'm just pointing out that one situation compared to many other styles he displayed in that
Okay.
ring. It was a
Okay.
one-sided victory for a
Are you
reason. He
done?
showed you
Are you
all this.
done?
Hold on,
Are
don't
you
cut me
done?
off, bro. Don't cut me
Bro, are
off,
you
bro.
done?
Don't cut me off, bro.
Oh, you
Don't
don't
cut
like
me
that?
off, bro.
He
You done, bro?
displayed
Are you done,
every
bro?
style.
Are you done,
Are you
bro?
done?
Okay, you're done.
Are you
Are you
Okay,
done?
done,
yeah,
bro?
you're done.
Are you
Are you
done?
done,
What are
bro?
you
Okay, you done,
talking
bro.
about, bro?
Now,
You
hold
just
on.
Yo, you
trying to
don't like
blend
I
it,
in that
right?
just,
one
I just
front
want
foot
him to,
dominance,
I
which
just
I
want
said
him to be able
when
to
he
explain one
was
thing to
front
me.
foot dominant, he was getting the best of Pacquiao. What are you talking about, bro?
Okay,
Okay, we get the point.
okay.
Next.
Now, Bucho,
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you ask him one question? Because he won't listen to me. I just want to know if he can explain to me the difference between front foot dominant, back foot, and ring generalship. I'd love to hear the difference
Oh
between
Pull
the
up the
three
fight,
and what
bro.
they
Pull
are.
up the fight.
The other two are forms of.
Pull up the fight, bro.
Please do.
We won't watch
No, this
Mayweather at
has
work.
nothing to do with the
Pull up
fight.
the
This is
fight.
the terminology you're using.
We
I
will
want to
watch
know the difference
Mayweather at
between
work.
Front
Pull
foot,
up the
back
fight.
foot, ring
fighting
generalship.
off of the back foot and
Pull
ring
up the
generalship.
fight.
He's
We'll
not
watch
gonna
Mayweather.
answer
He won't be
anything.
DFG,
able
I
to
gave you an
answer it,
example of
Mark.
what front foot
You said
dominance
you're gonna
was
pull it up.
without
Pull it
using a
up.
fight. And
All right. Well, listen.
This
Why
isn't
doesn't he
about the
just
fight.
fight?
This is
There's
about
no more
terms.
talking.
This is about terminologies. It has
There's no
nothing
more
to do with
talking. No.
any
Show the
fights.
fight.
When you judge a fight, right, and you're
Show the
talking about
fight.
All
front
right.
foot dominance, back foot defense, and then you talk about ring generalship, as far as I know,
Mayweather
defense
displayed
and
all
front foot
categories
fighting are both
of all
forms
points
of
we
ring
talking about, bro.
generalship.
All right,
Thank
here's
you.
the deal. We're gonna end this shit. DSFG, we're gonna watch the fight together at some point. So you better join. Mark, you're gonna be there too, and whoever else wants to join us. That way,
Go
because
reset,
this
Yeah.
isn't
man.
going anywhere. All right.
Yeah, we can do film
Hey,
analysis.
BDA, Bucho, can you hear me right now? BDA,
Yep.
can you hear me?
When did
Bucho.
Yeah, we
Mayweather
can hear
turn
you.
up?
Oh, you
All
can
right.
hear me.
What
Oh,
round?
okay. All right.
All
All
right,
right,
DSFG,
boy,
man.
I
boy,
tried to.
DSFG, bye, boy.
All right.
I just wanted. I just wanted to hear him when he said, "Listen, what are my comments on facts?" Because asking that kid question is like trying to teach a monkey how to hump a football. It just isn't going to happen.
No.
He's not going to answer a question because he's so
Yeah.
afraid of answering the wrong thing.
No,
'Cause
I know.
all
I
the-
know how to
you know
handle
what
a
I'm
guy
saying?
like that. But you would have had
Front
to
foot
do it.
dominance too, right? Usually you hear that term if you're fighting a southpaw against an orthodox, the guy getting his foot
Yeah.
on the inside.
Thank you,
That's
Jimmy.
usually when
That is
that
the
term is
perfect.
exactly.
That you know
Yeah.
something, and he wouldn't understand that. Usually when it comes to the left-right battle, the left usually has the front foot dominance. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it's
be
used
dominant. You
for.
would hear, when I would spar a fucking southpaw, my grandfather would yell when he was my corner. We'd always fight somebody. I fought two southpaws. I didn't like it, but anyways, in an actual fucking
The
fight.
thing is,
But
though,
yeah, it's okay.
the thing is, though, Jimmy, this is like nonsense we're arguing about. I mean, I can understand if we're arguing about something that are two valid points on both sides, but this guy's what valid point? He's trying to convince us that May was fighting like Golovkin that night. I mean,
I don't know, but is it me? Ever since Wilder got beat up, these crazy fans are like calling in and like, this is not reality. What my opinion is reality. It just seemed to bring out the worst in boxing fans. They like making up like DFG, whatever the fuck the kid's name is, and the other guy that rides with him, the Spanish sounding kid. I think it's El Jefe.
Oh, Jefe.
Whatever.
It's like the British guy said. Recognise. This is the thing. When you have a calling show, you get great calls and really knowledgeable guys. That's why we take the calls. But when you have them calls, you also have these guys like this guy and who just don't want to. They don't want to learn. They know the sport before they know it. If you get what I'm saying, they're just new to the game, and they're such narcissists. They think they have all the answers, and they're just ignorant, and they've got their views, and that's it. No one can teach them anything, and that's where you go wrong. See, with me, every time I come on here, I learn something of someone. When, say, if Recognise is telling me something, I learn, I take it in. Mark tells me something, I learn, I take it in. Same with Jimmy. This is how you get in boxing knowledge. You take everything in from everyone. But when you're stuck in your fucking some stubborn old ways where it's your way or the highway, this is what I mean. This is why we get these callers, and it just makes it for a bad listen, if you ask me. It really does.
It's terrible.
Look,
like Jimmy and Mark gave him excellent time, excellent amount of time to like explain front foot dominance and even help him out. They even helped him out.
You explained it to him and he couldn't answer.
I explained it to him without using a fight.
You gave him the answer.
I gave him the answer.
Look.
He still could have did.
I know it's just a generation of kids. I know my father would reach across the table and smash me across the mouth if I was talking to guys when I was in my early 20s and the guy was 47 trying to school me, because there's no university of boxing. You learn this. This is, you know what I mean? Through study, you can tell when somebody speaks. Like I can hear any one of you motherfuckers talk about boxing. I know within a second. Sorry, these guys.
You know what I would do, Jimmy,
know?
and I hate to be. I'm not just gonna pick on DFG. Anybody that behaves like that in person comes to a boxing gym. Okay, let's say I was still I was running a boxing gym, and what I would do is I'll let that kid talk. I'll tell a 25-year-old that I know is rough and rugged. Go beat him up right now. Go ahead, go beat him up.
Look,
and that 25 will run. That 25-year-old will go up to him and start showing him front foot dominance. And after he beats him up, I'm gonna say that's front foot dominance. That's exactly what it looks like, bro. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to show you the difference of what you think it is.
Now, I want to say something on this. Like, this is the same guy who the other day I was on a live stream, and this is a point of discussion he brought up, bro. Just hear me out. So you know the way Will Smith he had that song like I could beat Mike Tyson.
Yes.
So he watched the movie Ali with Will Smith, and he said he looked really good in that movie, and he was saying that he could have been a boxer. So if Will Smith, instead of going into what he did, if he had become a boxer, right, he could have gone on, and in the fantasy fight, who've we got? Will Smith, if he had have taken boxing seriously, or Mike Tyson in this prime? That was a question he legitimately asked, and he worded it that way.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you're talking about.
Because here's the reason. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Don't cut me off, bro. It'll go over your head. Because Will Smith looked a lot like Ali.
Right.
Look, fucking
and that
Will
means,
Smith could.
You mean he looked like the guy who was playing the part in the movie, right? I mean,
And here's the other part of it. Here's the other part of it. Because he obviously believed he could beat Mike Tyson. Why else would he have the song, bro?
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's the same sort of guys that think fucking Habib could beat Mayweather in a boxing match. I mean, that's the sort of guys you've got around these days. I mean,
Bro, let's throw Hillary Swank in the ring with fucking Clarissa Shields. That's what fucking happens. Like fucking you know Russell Crowe, yeah. Russell Crowe, he looked pretty good as James J. Braddock. Let's throw him into the ring with fucking Vladimir Klitschko. Let's see how he does.
You know what? Brad Pitt looked great as Achilles. Brad Pitt looked great as Achilles. Let's put him in there with Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I mean, look, fucking De Niro threw a monster left hook in fucking Raging Bull. Let's put him in there with Golovkin.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
all kidding aside. Hey, no, all bullshitting aside, fucking Brad Pitt looked awesome in Snatch. That movie was great.
Dude,
that
listen,
movie was fucking.
I'm
Just
not a
a
Brad
shout
Pitt-
out. That's one of my favorite movies, man.
I'm not a Brad Pitt hater. The kid is ripped, but I want to see him fight Conor McGregor because I think because he looks the part, that means he could probably beat Conor McGregor. The answer is
Did you ever see that movie
hell
Snatch?
no.
The fuck is
You ever seen that movie
Oh,
Snatch?
that movie was great. Yeah,
Great movie.
Brad Pitt is a great actor.
Bricktop,
he's a great actor,
fucking
man.
doing with the pig.
But
That was just a good. Oh, God, Richie movies. I like a lot of his.
But there's no way he's beating. There's no way he's beating.
No,
Conor
come
McGregor.
on, dude. No, God, no. It's insane. Listen, the difference, right? No, we should do. There was a guy, I've said his name on the show, Ouchie McGinnis, right? 87 years old, I think, when he finally passed. We would down the fucking thing. His wife would come down and drive because he lost his license years ago from drinking, but we'd purposely get him licked up because he wouldn't talk too much. But, you know, Mickey and everybody would all get him like get a 6-pack or an 8-pack. It was 8 packs of those little Miller Lights, nasty little beers, but he would down them and the motherfucker wouldn't shut up. And we would sit there like just listening to sucking it up like a sponge because this dude lived through it all, dude. He was in the corner of Carmen Basilio fight against, I forget who he was in the corner with. I mean, so can you imagine the fucking stories this dude had? And we would just sit there, you know, listen to him. You got to respect.
Jimmy, you're spot on, brother.
Picture anybody staying there.
Jimmy, that's you're from a different era, same as me, right? When we were youngsters, we sat around the elders and kept our mouth shut and just listened and took everything in and learned. These fucking young kids today, I mean, they're, like I said, dumb as a box of rocks, fucking no brain cells amongst them, and they can barely string a sentence together. They're fucking dumbasses, a lot of them. Not all of them, of course.
Still,
and do you know why that is? Because these fucking kids, they don't want to learn off anyone no more. They have all the answers from a young age. It's like me trying to tell my daughter things. I tell my daughter things because I know what I'm talking about. Yet she fucking knows better. She's barely been alive, but she knows better than I do. You know. And
when I was growing up, guys like Jimmy, who's only like 4 or 5 years older than me, I think I'm saying your age correctly.
Yes.
There was a chain of command. No, that guy has a little bit more experience than me. Therefore, as long as he's not an asshole, I will follow him. You know what I'm saying? I would follow a guy like that. That's how it used to be. It didn't have to be.
Listen, mate. Even look,
older.
Recognize, I've sat there and kept my mouth up where I've been told off by an older guy. Yeah, and I'd whoop this guy's ass if I wanted to, but I kept my mouth shut out of respect.
Exactly.
Out of respect, he's an elder man, but these kids these days, they want to fight you. They know all that. You don't know what you're fucking talking about, old man. I have the answers. You know.
Stu,
They
you know
listen
where
to a
this
few
comes from?
fucking Tupac albums and they think they're fucking gangsters, don't they? I mean,
Can I tell you what I personally think a lot of this is coming from? You, me, recognize all of us. We're from an era before Twitter, before YouTube.
Way before
So
that.
if we ever wanted to have our voice heard, if we ever wanted to have an opinion, we did it in front of other dudes. So we were raised in a time. I know, we all were, where we were responsible for our words. You couldn't
and
talk
another
to
thing as
people
well,
like that.
when we wanted to research things, we had to go to libraries. We had to read. We had to fucking. It weren't no click. We didn't tell fucking Alexis whatever they called, and she'd tell you on your little speaker.
Yep.
You know, we'd have to go
We
into
had
a
to search
library. We'd
for
have to read.
knowledge. Like,
And that's how.
literally.
Listen, my fucking old man, right? Everything my old man used to tell me, I used to take in like a sponge because he was an old wise man. And that's how you learn. You learn off the elders. You know, there's no respect to the elders these days. Look how young people treat the elders these days. They look down at them like they're better than them. These elderly people have lived a life. They know what they're talking about. Yet these fucking little muppets that have barely been on the planet have all the answers. I mean, this is why society's dumbing down. I mean, on the outside, it looks like we're getting smarter when you look at the technology and that. But that's just a few. But in the big picture, we're getting dumber.
They're getting
and
stupider.
and
Yeah,
dumber.
they
Cheers,
are.
mate. Excellent point. Cheers.
Hey, guys.
Definitely, bro.
I want to read some comments
yeah, you
here.
gotta go.
Chris,
You want to go for half an hour.
Super Chats, Chris K, thank you for your contribution. He says, Mayweather Pacquiao was my first pay per view. Virtuoso, thank you for your contribution. He says, What? Why people age like pumpkins? True story. I don't get it, man.
Okay.
Sorry. John Gonzalez, thank you for your contribution. He says, What's so hard about listening and respecting guys that are older and know so much more than you? That's right. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea why it's so hard.
Listen, and I'm not saying you can't be. Look, Mark is fucking 20 years younger than me. I have a son older than Mark. Mark is a student of the history.
Well, there you
of
go.
boxing.
Like I said, it's not even about
I
age.
listened to that kid when he. And the reason I know that, I don't. That's just not my opinion. He proved it to me. I asked him the most stupidest random questions, and he got it for me. That was it. No more discussion after that.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not about it's not about age, right? But the thing is, they recognise it's definitely not about age. You can when you know a man knows his stuff, then it's the best thing, whether he's younger or not. Instead of sitting there fucking trying to look down on the guy and try and argue with him with stupid facts, or so-called facts, then take in what he's saying, whether he's young or not. Learn from the guy, and this is what I mean with Mark. Like I said, Mark's a student of the game. But how many marks have we got ringing in?
No, we don't have that many. And you know what I like about Mark? He doesn't use that as a clutch over you. In fact, me and Mark have talked boxing, and he's asked me, like, what was it? You know, maybe somebody would laugh because it's like shows how old I am. What was it like watching that fight? What was the atmosphere
Archie
like?
Moore
Because I'm not going to teach you
stuff
the
like that.
history
Huh?
of that fight. He knows the history of that fight. He knows everything.
Well,
What
listen.
a guy like him would want to know is what was the atmosphere like? What was what were boxing fans like?
Look,
before that fight happened.
Mark comes on this show and learns things himself. Mark doesn't know everything about boxing. No one does. You can learn every day. Even Bert Sugar was learning every day. I mean, that's what you do. No one has all the answers. No one is a master at boxing knowledge.
If I thought I learned everything, Stu, if I thought I learned everything, I wouldn't want to even watch this shit anymore.
Yeah,
you get
bored after a while.
Hey, recognize.
Yeah.
When you were at that Joe Louis fight,
you can't go that far. You know what I'm saying?
I remember sitting in 90 degrees heat watching Jack Johnson fight 65 rounds.
All the way at the back. 50,000
I was all the way at the
people.
back
Yeah.
watching Jack Johnson in 90 degrees heat in the 65th round, and he's still holding on for dear life.
One of my favorite stories was when Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier for the first time. My father was going to kill this dude because there was some tickets going around on the black market. The guy ended up selling it to somebody else. My father literally told me he was going to kill him because he felt disrespected. because this was a huge event. You know,
Yeah.
like the anybody who was anybody was going to that fight. So my father was explaining to me he was a young man. He wanted to prove something. He thought this guy was going to sell him the tickets, and my father literally thought about killing him. He said it. Like, I know it
Wow.
sounds crazy, but those stories, there's a nostalgia about that because I wasn't a
Yeah.
1971. I wasn't born yet, so you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I mean, like I said, some of the stories as a young kid, like, I mean, this fight you probably would never find on YouTube. My dad took me to watch Nigel Benn versus a guy called fucking Gypsy Carmen, right? Nigel Benn was like, no one knew, but no one knew Nigel Benn, was there? It was just, he's like, I had a few fights. He just come out of the army and he fought this Gypsy Carmen. And fucking, I remember clearly about this fight because this Gypsy Carmen, every time he threw a shot, his shorts fell down. There was no elastic in his fucking shorts. It was a slob. His shorts keep falling down. I remember that clearly, but you never. That was just great memories. Like I said, that was like the 80s. That was, and I still remember it to this day. Good boxing memories, and all through like since then, it's just been some great memories in boxing to look back on and tell the grandkids. You know what I mean? And when you're there around the top, that's what I'm saying. One thing I could say, being around when Tyson was around. I mean, a lot of these youngsters weren't around. They never saw Tyson in his prime and all that. And that was a great era to be around. Do you know what I mean? When Tyson was coming through, and then you saw like Hagler and Leonard and then Hearns, Duran, them sort of guys, Aaron Pryor, fucking Alexis Aguero. Do you know what I mean? And then them sort of guys.
Dude, when Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas, I was 16 or 17 years old. Because I know it happened in 1990. Forgot what month it was.
It was,
but
in the springtime, I believe, and it was It was Saturday afternoon at 1:00 on the East Coast.
So let's say
'cause it was
if
from
that's
Japan.
if that's the timing, then I was probably 17 years old. So I have a good memory of that. I still have a good memory of that fight. I remember the shock. I grew up in an area where there's a lot of people. Our reaction was right there. Yo, did you see that shit? Talking through the windows.
When's your
through the
birthday
hallway.
again, Frank?
Huh?
Your birthday's April, right?
The last day of April. Yep.
Yeah, so you were still 16 because that fight was February.
Okay, February. That's.
Was it winter time? No, really? Was it winter?
No.
I remember it was sunny as a bastard.
No, it was February. It was February 1990.
Was it February? I know it was definitely sunny because I was laying on a couch in the middle of the afternoon. I couldn't believe it was on at 1:00 p.m. But I could tell you, the
Pretty
fight,
sure it was the 11th.
fight I went to that I don't even remember.
February
I didn't even
11th.
Recognize.
Yeah, I would still be 16, but I remember, man, me and my friends, like my brothers, be like, yo, you saw that shit? I can't believe this. Yo, he beat the shit out of Mike Tyson. And we weren't haters. Like, you know, it was just like, okay, there was some disappointed fans shaking their head. Damn, yo, Tyson got beat up, man. That shit is
He
crazy.
didn't even have an end swell in his corner. That's crazy.
Hey,
He
recognize.
used a rubber glove full of cold water.
But this was like main headline news. I mean, you got to remember back then in the UK we had 3 channels. That's all we had, and to be on the like mainstream news back then, it was like anything. Yeah, it was a big thing. It was just like when you sold a #1 record, you'd probably sell in the UK 3 million records to get a #1 back then. Today, 100,000. So, and same with the media sort of thing. It was a big to have a boxer that was front headlines of all the news every hour about Tyson being knocked out. I mean, that just shows how big this guy was. I mean, I don't think we'll ever
recognize.
I don't think a fight will ever reach that heights again. I don't think for fame.
No, probably.
Yeah.
Recognize. Just I want to. John Gonzalez. Thank you for your contribution. And he says recognize sat in the colored section for Jack Johnson's fights. Is that true?
Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Yeah, I want to ask a question. This is for like the younger people who might be listening, right? So before Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson, right, the build up going into the fight, like Mike was pretty much like he was coming off of the Carl Williams win, the Bruno win. What was everybody's thoughts exactly going into that fight? Did people even think it was going to be a match? Like, what was the build up like going in?
Which fight?
I remember the build up being there was a lot of noise from Japan that Tyson was going around fucking. He was like a prime Julio Iglesias that night, like I said, just banging everything that fucking moved. and he weren't taking his. It was around. I remember the British media was saying that Mike Tyson was cutting corners. His mind didn't look right, but it's still no one thought that Buster Douglas was going to do that.
Stu's 100% right. Going into that fight, that's all they talked about is that week in Japan because he was treated like such an icon, like such a fucking huge cultural icon, especially in Japan. They were holding. I mean, he was being seen at sumo matches. He was all the pitches. It was all over the place. But I can tell you the thing coming out of that fight that was the lasting thing for me was it was just nonstop every night on ESPN. Don King causing a fucking crazy scene. He was suing everybody to try to make
I remember,
that fight
Jimmy.
void.
I remember that they tried to get that result turned, didn't they?
Yeah, they
Yep.
did. I remember that, Stu. They tried it
For a
because
slow
of
count,
what happened in
a
the
couple
eighth.
different things. Yep.
What happened
For
in
the
the eighth
slow
round?
count.
You know that all those rumors you guys heard, we didn't. At least that I could look that I could recall. I didn't hear about that until the day of the fight. When you would listen to the announcers, right? So it started to make sense. They were like, "Did Mike Tyson take this fight serious?" There's a lot of reports he was on. I'm like, what?
I think he got
didn't
dropped
care.
in sparring against Oliver McCall. He got hurt in sparring as well.
And exactly. And remember what's going on at the same time in his personal. Listen, Mike will admit by his own, like most guys, he didn't have a father in his life. He was very impressionable. When Cuss died, he knew he was fucked when they fucking the Muslims who he was involved with at the time, Farrakhan. They were pulling him in 100 different directions. They were telling him to cut ties with Cuss's sister, who was basically his surrogate mother. He was being sued in Connecticut because they were having dog fights at his Connecticut house. There was all kinds of. His girl just had him on national television saying he was insane and that he has to be on fucking medication to keep his insanity together. He had so much shit, like he says, like in his stand-up tour he did. He's like, which was one of the saddest comments he makes when he talks about that time period in his life. He says, I don't remember. That's why he loves talking to people. If he runs into guys who are like us, who are old enough to remember it, he'll ask. He says, I ask questions because I don't remember. It all went by so fast. It all happened to me so fast.
Like a dream.
You have to admit,
exactly.
right?
That's how he said it.
You have to admit, though, like I said, we talk about Mike Lice, but let's keep it real. The guy was a piece of shit, man. He was a real
he even
piece of
admits
shit,
it.
Mike was.
He would admit it.
Yeah, I mean, look, our Mike's like I said, he's like a born again Christian Mike now, and he's like a reformed character. And I do like Mike how he is now, but if you keep it real, the guy was a piece of shit. Like I said, if that's true about the dogfight, I mean, you got to be the scum.
Not only that,
he had no idea about that though. To his defense, he had no idea. His cousins were living in the house. That's what he claims. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not buying that. That guy, he knew what he was doing when he got in the ring and knocking people's fucking heads off. He knew what he was doing, mate. Trust me. And look,
he's got a love for pigeons, though. I gotta tell you that.
Yeah,
one of the worst beatings.
One
of the worst beatings ever put on somebody was a guy who hurt one of his pigeons.
Yeah, but like I said, you can't. The thing is, you can't like keep making excuses for Mike. You know what I mean? The guy, you know. He's a big man. He was a world heavyweight champion of the world. He knows what's right and wrong, and he was doing a lot of wrongs. It's like this girl that I see. Yeah, I'm arguing with the other night. She's round here and she's fucking arguing with me, but she's trying to convince me that Michael Jackson's not a paedophile. Just because she had his posters on her wall and she liked his music, that was enough to convince her he's not a nonce. I mean, I said, take all the sentimental stuff away from all this now. Just look at the fucking evidence. What grown man? I said, if you come around my house and I had 20 bedrooms and I had kids in my bedroom with me, what would you say to me? You'd call me a fucking nonce. But because Michael bought the Billie Jean album out, he's all right, isn't he?
Mike Tyson is an amazing story for this reason. Guys with his profile usually end up at this age. They're either in prison, strung out on drugs, or in jail, okay, or dead. Excuse me. They
end up in Vermont,
right? Because the reason is there's something that happened in their childhood, and this is not making excuses. It's called how you raise a human being to turn out. Okay, so what happened to him early in his life? There should have been. If it wasn't for boxing, and this is why he gets choked up, I really believe that this man is only emotional because he met one man that he loved and loved him back, Cus D'Amato. I don't think he would have had any feelings had he never met Cus D'Amato. He never meets
Well,
him.
one of the
He died. That's why he gets,
one of the men in his life who's supposed to look out for him and love him made him suck his dick.
Right.
Oh,
He was
his
sexually
uncle or
abused,
something?
too, on top of everything else. Yeah.
They say
Sick.
Thunderdome said that maybe Costamato wasn't. That he might have had like a shady past with
he
children.
did have a shady past. That's why he could relate to Mike Tyson. He did.
Yeah, Cuss
No,
was rolling
you
with
got
the
to
mob.
understand something. No nice guy was going to relate to Mike Tyson. If you think that, you're crazy. A guy with Cus D'Amato's profile would be the one that would be able to reach out to a guy like Mike Tyson and speak to him where Mike will listen back. No nice guy's going to talk to Mike and he's going to
He had
listen to him.
32 fucking felony arrests by the time he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
32 felony arrests. He was beating women. He hit a woman in the head with a rock and stole their social security check.
Yeah, his old lady.
Years old. An old lady.
Did you ever hear the guy from Wu-Tang? His name is Ugard, right? So Ugard said that Mike Tyson robbed his aunt that lived in Brooklyn. Robbed her when he was a teenager.
Well, and not to make excuses, but because it's horrible, and it's fucking, I'd shoot him if it was my aunt. But at the time, like you said, his mother's strung out on drugs. She's on the street, doesn't come home for days. He opens up the cabinet, and he's got an old stale fucking packet of oodle and noodles. So, you know what I mean? Like, he goes out and he robs to eat. So, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's socio-economical. You know what I mean? Economics involved. But he had to have a nasty streak. He had all those other shits that happened to him. But, yeah, Tyson was, it was crazy. And then
Could he have
his worst? He had that fucking voice.
Could he have become
We used to fuck with him.
without the anger? But by the way, wasn't Cus D'Amato the one who told him to think about like his shitty past? Didn't he tell him that to get pumped up and shit? So how bad was that?
Telling him to channel. He taught him how to channel. He told him how to. You see, the reason why a guy like you got to understand Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, when he met Cus D'Amato, was just a walking dead guy. He didn't think. There was no thought. It was just reaction. That's it. Mike Tyson learned how to think through. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Let me just say this real quick.
No, I keep hearing an echo, so I think you're done talking. That's the reason I'm not trying to like jump in. It's just because again.
No, I know we got that
delay.
delay. But what I would say is this: he taught Mike how to channel that anger and use it in a boxing way. That was the only thing that was going to save Mike Tyson's life. The only thing that was going to save Mike Tyson was structure, and boxing was
the recognize. Don't you think though that anger actually was the reason he lost a few of them fights, going in there out of his mind?
Of course. Because look, the people that he was surrounded with, even Robin Givens, look, they knew what his Achilles heel was, or in other words, what was wrong with him, and they kind of abused him in a sense, knowing this guy had problems. They made him sound like he was the aggressive type, which he was, but they exploited that in order to make others feel that he's the bad guy. He's the bad guy, and we're the good guys, and there's something wrong with Mike. And that's why
but my point is, Gonzalo, what you said is true. But my point was, in the boxing ring, when you go in the boxing ring fighting angry, you make mistakes. And if you see a lot of Mikes where he was just swinging for the hills, there was no method behind his work. He was just going for the kill, weren't he? I mean, who was it? He tried to snap their arm. Was it Franz Bofer? He tried to fucking snap his arm.
He tried to break his arm.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude, you remember this? You remember this? Oh,
yeah, I did it.
And he actually was, man. But anyway.
But for the 5 years,
what Cusmato did to him, I was gonna say what Cusmato did to him, like to channel that stuff and tell him like to always bring him back in the dark places. That might work great, but like Stu said, that came back later though to haunt him. You know what I mean? Like that was good at the time to get him. But he was never died. He was never learned to deal with it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think when he was young, when he was young, hungry, it got him so far. With a lot of it was the fear in his opponents. They were beat before they even got in there. But once he started going in there with like some guys, let's just say some guys who had the attributes to trouble him. You know, you've got to fight smart when you're the smaller guy. You can't
range.
You can't just be flying in there with your chin in the air or swinging for the heels. Mike Tyson at his best, there was body movements, there was feints, he was getting in smart. Do you know what I mean? He was getting in the inside with smart moves. And before, in the end, he just started flying in with his fucking chin in the air, and that's why he was getting caught. There's just no method behind his work, and that's fighting.
But during those 5 years when he was on top, look, I think the fear. Now that you're mentioning, I just thought about it too. The fear from his opponents came because of the speed. They didn't know how they were going to get hit, so that could be very fearful.
And that speed came from anger, belly anger, stomach,
and cocaine, man.
From your stomach all the way to your chest. That shit just came.
Yeah,
that came natural to him. That adrenaline, that just makes you like a machine, and that's what he was.
Yeah, but the thing is, recognise, as a guy who's fought yourself, once you start stepping up to the real top elite level with the top guys, you have to fight smart. You can't go in there angry. You can't burn in energy. You can't, because when you fight angry, you make mistakes.
What happens is, Stu, he ends up meeting a guy who's strong enough to take it. That's the key.
Yeah.
Strong enough to take it. Then what happens? What happens after that?
But in the beginning, he was fighting really poised. He was fighting really
even
poised.
killers have to use their boxing skills now and again.
If Deontay Wilder were to face Mike Tyson, I think Deontay Wilder would be fearful of Mike Tyson's speed when Mike Tyson was in his prime, not knowing where the punch is coming from. You see those faces he did against Tyson Fury? That was actually genuine fear.
Oh, that ends very quickly, that fight.
Yes, it does. Tyson throws awkward punches from awkward angles, and one of the few guys who can crush your skull when both feet are off the ground.
Have you seen? That's
true.
Hey, listen. Wilder reacts to feints. He's a nightmare for it. And
buys them all.
He buys them all. Tyson was the king for a start.
Yeah, Tyson
Wilder has no inside game whatsoever. Yeah. Tyson, probably the greatest we've seen.
Tyson knocks him out in the second round.
Knocking out.
Early.
Yeah,
I mean,
second round knockout.
So I'd go with that.
Yeah.
He might be able to survive the first round. The second round, he's fucking dead meat. He's just dead.
And just do what you said too about buying the feints. I think that's what made him so mentally. Remember, he said, "Why does he look so tired?" Fury, if you watched him, he was fainting. He would dart his hand, drop his shoulder a little to the right. He would drop his shoulder with his right shoulder and throw a jab. And he would see Fury. He was Wilder buy all his feint.
Do you know what it does, Jimmy? Do you know what it does? Do you know what that does? It mentally drains you. What it does, you get so confused what to do because there's so many feints, and you'll react, half react, and in the end you do nothing. And like I said, you're trying to think, what can I do? And before you know it, you're doing nothing. And this is what mentally, I think it drained him. And then once you
and then that overhand right, Stu. That overhand right was breaking him with every.
Yeah, like I said, once you're mentally drained, and then them big shots start landing, it's all over for you, isn't it?
That's what Lomachenko does to everybody. He gets them to the point where, you just start fucking. He falls for the feint. His hands are moving, his head's moving. He's changing angles of attack. Every round he comes out different, shows you a little different, so you can never time him. It becomes, like you said, frustrating, and it's mentally
Wilder. The thing with Wilder, he will react to a feint, but he'll half do something, if you get what I'm saying. He won't throw a shot, and he sort of like won't do anything. He sort of half throws a shot, and he leaves himself wide open. He's in the wrong places. I mean, smarter fighters would have took him out long before Tyson got hold of him, but he never fought that sort of guy. I mean, someone that could counter him from a mistake. And I think that was Wilder's problem with Fury. I think that's why I don't think he'll ever beat Fury, because I just think it's a mental thing. I just don't think he can get to grips with Fury's style.
Best part is Fury was for him at the time with Finkel. That was a cherry pick in their book, because remember, he just came off the couch after 3 years, 350 pounds, cocaine and alcohol. And for all intents and purposes, he should have fucking burnt through him. And when he didn't beat him up in the first fight, like finish him, that's why I was so adamant. You know what I mean? I didn't know at what round, but I was going to pick Tyson going in. But I changed, I went, well, not changed, but I finally came out with the knockout at the end. But just because of everything going in. Because you could say, and when Tyson Fury's father ever said in the first fight, you're only 50%, don't. And so he was, and I never say, it seems like one thing about Fury, everything he says has a ring of truth to it. It doesn't like he says shit just because he talks a lot, doesn't mean he's not talking truth.
Hey guys, we got to end the show, all right? It's been 3 hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes. 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Hang on, let me just quickly respond to Jimmy, right? This is why I picked Fury by knockout, because if Wilder couldn't beat the worst Tyson Fury he's ever going to face, then what makes you think he's going to fight a confident one with Kronk gym behind him. He's looking in a lot better shape. Got a couple of wins behind him. Come on, man. It's not rocket science. Sometimes boxing's quite easy, you know. People overcomplicate things when they try to predict
So
fights.
many people had fucking Wilder winning. We were one of the few podcasts, and I listened to a lot just to hear the prediction videos. Almost nobody outside of this podcast, in America anyway, was picking Fury to win. It's crazy. Everybody had Tyson.
Not only did some people over here predict Fury would win, Stu got the round right, and I said Mark Breland would pull him out. Between me and Stu, we predicted that spot on, and so did Bucho.
I picked.
I even told you the game plan that Tyson would do to beat him, and he said everything. And I was saying it before he was even with the Kronk. I mean, when he went to the Kronk, I was fucking over the moon.
Obvious. It was obvious, mate. It
was so obvious to me. Yeah, and when he went to the Kronk, I just thought this is a masterclass move, and my confidence in Tyson Fury rose massively. I think with the Ben Davison, he was the one that was holding me back with this fucking with Tyson.
I think he did all right with getting him in shape. Like he was a good motivational speaker.
That's what I
said. He needed more.
Yeah,
he did get him in good. He did get him in pretty decent shape. But like you said, going into the Kronk gym, that's a whole different animal. And you could see the confidence.
Shout out to Sugar Hill, by the way. He's done very well. He's learned a lot from his own. He's learned a lot.
Mark, now you're the one who's only 20 years old.
No, I'm 27. 20? I'm not 20. I'm 27.
27. I thought something was in my hearing. I don't hear it that good. Still 27, dude. Wow. You know the game. It's impressive.
Appreciate
I heard
it,
you on other podcasts, too. You definitely know what you're talking. All you guys.
All right, guys, let's end the show because
listen,
I want to do
I'm gonna
another
let
show
BDA go,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to do another show
show.
tomorrow, so take a little break here. But thank you for joining us, everybody, and in the chat as well, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, all right?
Does Mark have a
Thanks for
Twitter
having me on,
page?
Bujo.
Mark,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
do you have a
follow
Twitter
you, Jimmy.
page,
I'll
bro?
tweet you. I follow
Okay,
you.
yeah,
I'll
tweet me, dude. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, shit. Thank you, brother. All right, guys. Everybody, be safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow, hopefully, God willing.
Yep.
Wash your hands and fucking smash a woman. So
That's right. That always helps.
Wash your ass. That's your
Sure,
ass.
ours, man. Everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Second Renaissance. Great channel. We talk about anything and everything. The link is in the description. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.